All right, it says that we're live on Restream. let's check YouTube and see if it's working. Hopefully, Yammer should pick up here in a second because Yammer is pretty resilient to having its stream drop out. It won't kill it. It won't kill the event for a while. So, okay, it says we're live on a new YouTube video called "Uh-Oh." Oh my gosh, that's crazy. All right, it says we're not receiving any data on Yammer. That probably should pick up within like a few seconds here. What the heck? Yeah, I feel like I lost internet for a little bit there because you dropped out. The live stream in eCam just completely dropped out, and it was like all my browsers and everything refreshed. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to get fiber internet. And it sucks because like Spectrum, I just did a there's a problem playing the video. Let's hit try again. I just did a speed test and I was getting perfect speed. It was like 890 down and like 41 up. And then it died on me. Let's see if Yammer comes back up here. But hey, we're live on YouTube. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, say hi in the chat so I know that you're here. Yeah, I'll put on here that I'm trying to... All right. Let's see if this is going to work here. Goodness. Yeah, there's just a bunch of people saying they lost it.
Yeah. And this is why we do all the technical troubleshooting live in front of everybody.
I'm frustrated that the Yammer's not working. Yeah, I don't know. I'll keep messing with this and see if we can get the Yammer side back. But we got some people on YouTube at least who are watching. So hey, I'm glad that you that you found us again on this new video, and it'll be a fun watch whenever this is on demand later on. But I think I lost internet connection because like my Andy dropped off, my whole internet just went out. So yeah, I'll send the Cerner people over to YouTube. So let me grab that link. Thanks everybody for sticking around here with us. All right. Yeah, let me post this on YouTube. Okay. I have posted that out to the Cerner people. Thanks, John David Brown. I appreciate the idea. I was like panicking. So Angel's here. Yeah, we've got more viewers now. So we were talking about laptops and how great the M1 Mac is until mine completely crapped out. But there was one question Scott had from the other video that we were on where he said, hey, does Apple control the prices or are you going to find better deals at other places? In my experience, they're pretty well set. You know, Amazon, Best Buy, those are going to be generally the same. every once in a while I'll see a better deal on like a Best Buy or something like that, like maybe $100 off or something.
Yeah.
The one place I would look though is if you're a member of Costco or Sam's Club. Usually a Mac laptop is about $100 to $150 off just normally, or they run very frequent sales. So that would be the one place that I would probably watch for a good deal on a MacBook is like probably Costco. So I don't know if you've seen anything better, Andy.
So one place that I go, and I've had really good luck with it, and I'm sharing my screen now, if you want to bring that up. But
Yeah, man.
one place that I go to get a decent deal is the Apple certified refurbished. You're buying a Apple refurbished model, but they refurbish it with the newest parts, the newest.
Oh yeah, refurbished is supposed to be really
Yeah.
nice.
So like, depending on what you're going to buy, you like here's an M1. You're saving $140 with a Mac Mini with an M1 in it. And you're getting a refurbished model, but they give you the same 1 year warranty that they do the new products, and then you can buy Apple Care on top of that. In my experience, like with the refurbished models that I bought, they've been rock solid. And anytime I've had an issue, I had an issue with the screen in a MacBook. They replaced the entire screen, no questions asked, no cost to me, because it was still in that model. But you can see, like if you're looking to save a little bit, like you can get a refurbished MacBook Air with the M1 chip in it. Going to save $150 off the Apple refurb store. So that's a place I've had some really good luck. And I mean, you know, it's not just for MacBooks and Mac Pros. It's across the line. But the newest ones, I don't think you're going to see those on there yet, like the 16-inch or the 14-inch. However, I will tell you, the day they pop up on there, they go fast. They go really fast.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
It took me a few weeks to get a refurbished Mac Mini. Just kind of checking in once a day or whatever. They go pretty quick whenever they pop up.
Yeah, over here on Yammer, somebody posted Cole Johnson said that Costco has the 13-inch M1 for $150 off right now. So there's another link that you can use.
Yeah.
Terry, if you've made it over. Yeah, there's Cole Johnson. He made it over to YouTube. There you go, bud. You're on screen twice. The certain people are jumping over. We got like 26 people now on YouTube. Thanks, everybody. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties again. I think my internet did what Spectrum does frequently. It's usually in the morning too, where it like craps out. John Brown says that he's looking for a mic for video conference calls. Prefer something that's out of sight. What's Andy using today? Any other suggestions? Yeah, I've got a slide on this, so we'll go through the slide categories. But Andy, do you want to throw out what you're using right now?
Yeah, I'll actually bring it into camera. So I'm using the Rode NT USB Mini. It's a USB microphone, and I mean this thing is
It looks awesome on that big Compass stand.
yeah, it's really
adorable.
really tiny. It's heavy though, like it's got some density to it, which is pretty cool. But I'm using the Rode because this is more portable, and we got a slide coming up on it in a little bit. I love the audio that comes out of it, and there's some software that's free that allows you to do noise gate and compression and bottom end, so you get that big radio voice. And then I can also do some sound effects with it.
That's pretty nice.
Which is, yeah. And
the software is really what makes these microphones great, you know?
Yep.
Like I can do that through mine too. I've got some Mario sounds. So
Here we go.
awesome. Yeah, you got that.
And Nintendo just flagged the video.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
so I've got a whole category
using.
on microphones. Awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds really good to me. I like it. It's just his is out of frame. Mine's a little bit more in frame. I'm using something called the Shure MV7. It's a dynamic microphone, so you do have to be a little bit more up on it to have it hear you. But I really like this one as well. We got we got a guy watching from the UK, and then Caroline said that she's looking for a panel light. She has ring lights, but she doesn't care for them. We've also got a category just on lighting, and I've got an opinion about ring lights that I'll bring up at that point. So with that, you want to jump to the slides here, Andy, and we can start talking about about some stuff? All right.
Yep.
So my first category that I was thinking of is cameras. So I've got, I'm going to scroll through to my slides here and get to cameras. So what I've got, and it's covering up my face is covering it up, but there's two ways that you can go. At least what I recommend is you've got the traditional USB camera, like a Logitech camera or an Elgato, or Dell even makes a pretty ultra sharp camera, and you could go that route and do some of these USB cameras. What I would recommend is there's the one up here at the top is the Elgato Facecam. It's about $200 normal price. It just came out maybe like a month ago or 2 months ago. So I don't know if it's going to have a sale for Black Friday. Probably not, but it's $200. This is the Logitech Stream Camera, or Stream Cam. I want to say it's like $150 or $180. And then the Logitech Brio is a really popular choice as well. This one is, it was about $200, but lately it's been on sale a lot for $150. So I would definitely recommend that one as well if you're looking for a USB camera. The way that Andy and I have both gone is with mirrorless cameras or DSLR style cameras. A mirrorless camera is a little bit lighter weight. It's a smaller body than an actual DSLR. But what I've got here is a lot of people go for Sony or they go for Canon. I personally have used Sony and Panasonic. The reason why I wouldn't recommend Panasonic generally is because their autofocus isn't very fast. So I've noticed that in a lot of my videos, if you look at my videos from like a year ago or so, they were a little bit fuzzy or they would kind of go in and out of focus. That was my Panasonic G85. I've switched to a Sony A6400, and for me, the focus is super crisp all the time. So I recommend Sony. Canon, people also say that the autofocus is really, really good. What you need, though, is you need a USB capture device of some sort. So I've got on here that you also need to keep in mind the Elgato CamLink. So for me, for cameras, I have the Sony A6400 with an Elgato CamLink 4K. That's what you're looking at right now on my screen. What I'm interested in is I really would like to get the Elgato Facecam because I've heard it's almost as good as a mirrorless camera, and I kind of want to test that out and see what people think about that. Andy, what do you think about cameras?
So
I'll switch over to your screen.
Yeah, much like you, I came from the webcam world. I've been on MacBooks for 15 plus years, and they always have a built-in webcam. But the MacBook webcams up until recently were always 720p. And I went with the Logitech external webcams, and they were always flat. The light was kind of like washed out. They didn't have great autofocus. Wasn't a huge fan of it. So back in 2020, early on, being at home, working from home all the time, I started using a Canon Rebel like T6 that it was my mom's, and I started using it because there was some webcam software that would allow me to use it as a webcam, and I liked it. I had it on a slider on my desk, kind of at eye level, and I could move it into the middle of the screen and broadcast and move it off to the side. But at some point, the webcam software stopped working with Microsoft Teams. There was a on the Mac side of the world, there was an update to Teams for security purposes, and an update to Mac OS, and that broke the webcam. And so I started looking around. I'm like, I really like having, like John said, autofocus, but also with the mirrorless cameras, you get really good depth of field. So like my background's a little blurred because I'm using a camera lens with a really big aperture. That's the ring that lets in all the light, and it allows it to focus on me and then just kind of blur the background a little bit, called bokeh. And I really liked that look, and I was getting a little bit of that from the Canon. And so when I decided to buy a new one, I actually went and I did a ton of research. I didn't want to spend a ton on the camera, and I really like the A6400, and I really like its big brother, the A6600, but they were a little bit more than I was wanting to spend. So I actually ended up going with the Sony A6500, which is in the same line, but it was released a few years prior. It's got 4K video in it, but you can drop it down to 1080p, which is what I'm doing. And then it's got an HDMI out, and that HDMI out I can run through to my computer. And like John, I've got the Elgato CamLink. I think it's great. It's small, it's portable, goes wherever you need, but I'm not using it because I'm using this bad boy. Part of the reason John and I kind of got together and bonded over all this stuff was because I had questions about the ATEM Mini. And so John took the time while we walked through it. We did some tests, and I was like, all right, that's what I want. And I went with this for my camera feed so that I could switch between multiple cameras. I don't have it hooked up today, but I can have 4 separate feeds coming in. So you can see like multiple angles. I can do a top-down angle. I can do an over-the-shoulder angle. I can do a side angle, or I can do a front angle. And that's why I went with the ATEM Mini. The other reason I went with that is because it offloaded the graphics processing from my MacBook at the time, which would get it would peg out the GPU, and it would get pretty hot. And it was a hardware solution, so that all that was being done externally, and that would bring the temperatures down on the MacBook, which was great. The new one, not a problem. So I'm using the Sony A6500. I love it. I think it's great. It's a ASPC lens format. It's not a full frame camera. And then I'm using a Sigma f1.4 30 millimeter lens on it currently. And that's the lens that I have today. I love it. I love the autofocus. I love the lens. And I can use this camera for other stuff. I can go and take pictures of my kids with it, and the pictures are incredible. I can do 4K video, and the video is absolutely incredible. My only complaint is that the battery in this thing is the NP50 is stupid small, and like if you use it for an hour, you've just discharged the battery. So I have a whole bunch of little battery packs running around, and then when I'm using it on my computer, I'm actually got it connected to a dummy battery. So I got from Amazon. It's just a dummy battery pack, plugs into the wall, and I use that, and it just gives me full power. It also minimizes any overheating issues. Some of the Sony cameras from a few years ago were subject to a 30-minute recording limit, unless you're plugged into like a dummy battery, and then you can extend that, and then they don't have any overheating issues. So that's what I'm using, the Sony A6500. And I also have a Sony A6000, and I got both of them really, really cheap at Adorama. I went to Adorama, just searched for used cameras, and there's a whole bunch of different conditions you can get them in, new, out of the box. I went with both of mine were kind of in the E range. I was pretty comfortable with that, because it was just a couple of scrapes on the body. No issues to the sensor, no issues to the functionality of the camera. And the pricing was really good at the time. I'm just going to drill down into Sony for a minute. But I went with the A6000. I got it for like $285 when I got it. And then I saw the 6500, and I really liked the 6500's autofocus features over the 6000. The 6000 is like a 12-year-old camera at this point, and the 6500, I don't know, probably like 7 years old or something like that. But I mean, you can go in here and you can get one of these used. This is the A6600, which is the big brother. It's a little bit more expensive, but I've had great experiences with Adorama, and they'll even buy back equipment
from mine. The 6400 go to the 6600 is more in level with your 6500.
Yeah. And for me, the one that I really want, the one that I got my eye on, and I'm waiting on a deal for it to fall in place, is I am really super interested in the Sony Alpha 7C, the A7C. It's a compact full frame, so it's a step up from what we're using now, which is the 6400 and the 6500. These are not full frame cameras, meaning they don't take advantage of the full sensor. These do, and the A7C has some incredible autofocus. They have different autofocus modes, person, pets, and a couple of others in there. They have on the screen they have it's a grid of like 500 points for autofocus. It's incredibly fast, and it works with the same lenses that I'm using on the A6500, which is great. The thing that it's going to give me is it's going to give me a little bit wider field of frame because it's taking advantage of the full sensor on the ASPC, the 6500. It kind of brings that frame down just a little bit, kind of crops it in a little bit. So on the A7C, I would have a little bit wider frame to work with, so I could get more of that a view kind of like this versus like where I am now. A little bit
shallower depth of field, easier to gather more light because it's a bigger sensor. Yeah.
And the one other thing about the A7C that I really, really want, and I'll just pull this up in another tab so you can see it while I'm kind of broadcasting through here. The other feature that it has that the two that I currently don't have is a lens or a screen that folds out. Like I have, there's a screen in the back, but it just tilts up, and that's all that it does. This one has a full fold out one, so you could use it full on for vlogging. When I monitor myself, I have a separate window in front of me where I can see it. But if I had that on camera, that would just be a game changer because I could just see it on camera. So that fold out screen, that's another one of the big features of that. So maybe one day, if I save up enough and sell one or two of these cameras, I'll step up to the A7C.
Yeah. So next we've got, well, actually before I switch over to microphones, another option that you could throw out there is an app-based solution. So this is one that I've used personally. Morris Montejo on my team, he's also used this Epoch Cam. This is by Elgato. And what you can do if you want to step up like the cheapest possible option, I think this is maybe like $7 or $8 normal price. It might go on sale around Cyber Monday. But you download an app on your computer, you download the app on your phone, and then you can use it over USB or over wireless. I probably would do USB so you don't have any lag. And you could just buy like a $15 stand with like a little tripod, put your phone above your laptop, and then now you've stepped up your webcam to like a ridiculously better experience than what you've got just based on your laptop or just, you know, for your laptop alone. And I use Epoch Cam actually for my my desk camera. So if I switch over here and my microphone has changed, I use this as a wireless camera so I can show things on my desk and I can kind of show the layout that way. And you heard my 3-year-old.
Hear the kid in the background.
Microphone didn't reject as much. But like it allows me to like get away from my desk and go show how I've set something up. So I use Epoch Cam just for that, but you could use it as like your full blown Microsoft Teams webcam if you want to.
So I was going to mention Teams. With Teams, all you need is the phone. There's an option when you join Teams on the desktop or the web, and then you join the same meeting on your phone. It'll ask you, do you want to use this as a webcam? And then you can take advantage of that Android or that Apple device and use that full camera inside of there. You mentioned that stand, and I want to throw this out there. I didn't have this in the wish list. I got this from Anker a couple years ago, and I absolutely love it. First off, it's a phone stand, so it's a little tripod-based phone stand. It's also a selfie stick, and and it's also got a Bluetooth button, so you can start and stop and film and do whatever you need.
Button and stuff.
Yep. So I got this from Anker. It wasn't very expensive at all, and I don't even know if it's still on their website or not. But it's a great little mini tripod-like device. And super lightweight. So if you need to travel, you can take it with you. But you can do the selfie stick. You can do the tripod. It's fully adjustable. It fits just about any phone.
That's really small
that you want. Yeah, it's been really, really good. I've had some good experiences traveling with that.
Nice. So, Marjolin, is that how you say your name? Marjolin? I'm really bad at names that aren't, Midwest United States. So I feel really bad if I messed up your name. But she says to check out Re-Incubate Camo. So I want to find this app here. So she recommends this one. Oh, Maryland also goes fine too. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. I know that you're the MS EDU Central account on Twitter, but I've never heard you say your actual name before. So she says this Re-Incubate Camo is another like use your webcam as or use your phone as a webcam solution. And so you could do it on Mac. It says it's also for other platforms, so probably on Windows. And it's another one of those like you download an app on your phone, app on your computer, and then you could just use it for anything. So while you can use Teams and you could do that kind of companion mode to join from both devices, having a dedicated app like this would allow you to do it for if you record tip videos or something like that, and you just want to do local recording with a webcam. This gives you a few more options there as well. So this app looks like there's a lot of stuff in it because you can adjust like the exposure and the saturation and the white balance. So you could really kind of tune the image a little bit. Oh yeah, she also says, which is a terrible name for an app, but that is a really cool app as well. I think it's a subscription based one, but that's one that I tried out when it was in beta as a like virtual webcam utility.
Can you go back to the Elgato Facecam? I want to mention a couple things here. So John mentioned being interested in this one. This is another one that I'm super interested in, and these two apps bring up a feature that I want to make sure we point out on the Elgato Facecam. The Facecam is basically like it's basically a DSLR camera. You can change the field of view. You can change the depth that's associated with that. But like the two apps that we just saw, it has some features built into it that allow you to change the ISO, allows you to change the resolution, allows you to change. I think you can adjust the aperture inside of it as well. You're getting that in the Elgato Facecam, and that's going to run via USB into your device. Yeah, there's all the adjustments that you can make there. So like if you don't want to go into the whole mirrorless interchangeable lens world, you can get a lot of those features through this one. And I've seen a number of reviews on it. I spend way too much time on YouTube late at night, and seen a number of reviews on it. And it's really, really good. But in going and some of the apps that we just mentioned, some of the functionality, you're going to get that out of the Elgato Facecam if you can get one. I think they were on back order for a while. Hopefully they'll have some stock coming up. But if I were going to shift out of the mirrorless camera world, that's one I would take a strong look at.
Yeah, looks like it's in stock right now from the Elgato website. I think I saw it on Best Buy, available locally in the Kansas City area as well.
Yeah,
but it's not on sale. But it's a pretty new thing.
Well, if you're a Best Buy Rewards member, you get points for purchasing it.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would point out is that the settings are saved on board for the camera. A lot of these USB cameras, they reset their settings if you reboot the computer or if you unplug the camera and plug it back in. So if you're like hybrid and you're going into the office and you're coming back out, you're going to lose some of your settings. This one, it's saved to memory on the camera, the USB camera. So it retains that a lot better, which is a really good thing. The other thing to point out is it is only a camera. So there's no microphone built into this, which I think is a good thing. And I think Andy would probably say is a good thing because you don't want to use the camera that's built into these, or the microphone that's built into these cameras, because the microphones are terrible. They're an afterthought compared to the image quality. So moving on, we've got
stick
a couple
with the cameras for just another minute or two?
Yeah, sure, man.
Yeah, I just got a couple other things camera related. Wanted to briefly discuss before we move on.
Okay.
So in the camera world, a couple of things for me. Can you bring up my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So with all these cameras and stuff, like I've been anchored to my desk for the last 18 months, 2 years or whatever. But usually I'm not anchored to my desk. I'm in and out. That's why I have a laptop. That's why I want some portability. And in transporting all of this stuff, I'm a backpack aficionado. I go through backpacks like my wife goes through purses. I'm always on the lookout for for a new backpack. I've been using this one for a couple years, and I really like it. It's really good for cameras. It's called the Peak Design Everyday Backpack. And what I like about this is that it's accessible from 3 sides. All right, so you see here that it opens from the side. It actually opens from both sides, and you've got these adjustable shelves. They're Velcro based. And so you can adjust them, but you can also fold them up and you can create compartments. You can create up to 3 compartments on a single shelf if you need it. And then it's adjustable or accessible from the top, but it's also adjustable. They've got some different levels there where if you need to expand it, put a little bit more gear in the top, you can do that. On the back side of it, it's got a laptop pocket, and it's also got a place for your iPad. I really like this backpack for some light work and like taking my camera with me and taking my microphone with me and setting up and doing, a workshop or a presentation at a conference or something like that. And what I like about it is it's accessible from both sides. I can leave one strap on, swing it open, get to what I need, and then put it back on my back, and then I can keep going. But if I'm setting up for like a talk, I can just put it on its side, open a flap, and I can get to everything from the side. But because of the shelving, I don't have to worry about everything sitting on top of everything and getting crunched down or whatever. I put some heavier batteries at the bottom to kind of weight the bottom, and that helps it like just sit upright if I need it to. And then just kind of based off of I put cameras in the middle because that gives them the most protection. I keep softer things up top, jackets and things like that. My only gripe is that I got the V2. And the shoulder straps are not the most comfortable in the world. They adjust that in the V3, but I wasn't going to go through the process of trying to sell and upgrade. I did see this morning that Peak Design has a 30% off sale running. So you might want to check that out if you're interested in that one. So that's one I've used for a couple of years. And there's a ton of advantages to it, but I really like the shelved based side access. Now,
nice.
Step up from that.
Up here. So it looks like the everyday backpack is $233 right now.
Yeah,
for that.
And they even they
that's
have a pre-owned section as well. So there's a pre-owned section there, and you can get a deal there as well.
Nice.
And then more recently, I got this bad boy. This is the Low Pro Pro Tracker A350 AW2. World's worst name. It's so long, but this is more of a professional photography bag. You see, you can do adjustable shelving, but you get complete control of both the columns and the rows inside of there. It's got this flap in the front. It actually puts the laptop on the front of the bag versus right up against your back, which can be really helpful. It's a little bit softer against your back, and like if you just use the laptop and it's a little warm, you don't have that warmth sitting on your back as you're doing whatever commuting. So you can drop a laptop in the front. There's a couple of compartments for things like your iPad and memory cards and things like that. They include this little pull-out bag for cords and attachments, but this whole section in here is completely customizable. So I got that one more recently. It's carry-on friendly for airlines, at least U.S. airlines. It's carry-on friendly. It's got straps on like all the sides, so no matter how you put it in like an overhead compartment or a bin, you're going to be able to get it back out. And this one's not for side access, so I would use this if I were doing more of a bigger trip, or like I used it at a SharePoint Fest not too long ago, because I could put both of the lenses that I wanted for the 2 cameras that I was using for the podcast that I was delivering. I could drop in my ATEM Mini, my cables and everything, and then I just had to open one thing, and most of my stuff was intact, and so it was really quick for me to get set up and then to break things down afterward. So I really liked it, and the straps are great. The straps are really good. It even includes a waist strap that's completely detachable. But I've had this one for about 6 months now, and I haven't had a chance to use it a lot because I'm still doing a lot of work from home. But for some of the larger trips, I'm really big on that.
Nice. Yeah. What I'm using, I'm really interested in the Peak design. I've had Low Pro before for like a drone backpack. I had one that was like dedicated to a small drone backpack. I ended up getting rid of that and going to kind of like an all-in-one, like what you've got. Right now, what I've got is the in-case DSLR Pro, which I like a lot, but I think I want to go to the Peak design. I like the shelving idea a little bit better. This one is nice because it's got a good area for the laptop to go into. I stuff my charger down in the bottom of the front flap here, and then if I need to, I have quick access from the top, so I can unzip this top flap and pull the camera out and do a shoot real quick. But it's kind of like the Low Pro, where when you lay it down like face down, and then you unzip the back, and this door opens up, and then it's got all these little cubbies inside of it. So the bulk of it is organized in these little shelf units, and then there's like little pouches inside the door that flaps open. I do like this one because it's pretty safe and secure. Like somebody can't unzip it because this part right here is what's up against your back. So somebody can't like unzip it without you knowing, because it's kind of like leaning on your back a little bit. But the Peak design I'm really interested in. Daryl, who's watching on YouTube, says, "What's your pick for like a sling bag for like light run and gun?" I used to have a sling bag, but I don't anymore. I don't know, Andy, have you used a sling bag before?
I've got a Victorinox laptop sling messenger bag. That one's
Mm-hmm.
pretty good, but I think the Peak Design one's
Mm-hmm.
really good.
Yeah,
John's
there's a
bringing that one
couple.
up now. I've heard a lot of really good things from that one. And Timbuk2, they make a couple of really good sling design messenger bags. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I really went back and forth between like just a straight up messenger bag and then like the
Mm-hmm.
Peak Design. I ended up going with the Peak Design because the dual shoulder, like I like having it on both shoulders, especially if like I'm carrying it for a few hours at a time. And in my
Mm-hmm.
experience, like I would have some back pain when I used messenger bags, even if I just had like a couple of cameras and lenses on it for some running gun. Having just that one shoulder, it just caused me back pain over the course of a few hours. So I like having
Mm-hmm.
the backpack for both shoulders and then being able to go across the chest or across the waist to kind of break
Mm-hmm.
it up a little bit. But the Peak Design one, I've actually tried that one on. It's really, really comfortable. But it just wasn't for me. And then the Timbuk2, I've tried a few of those out. REI has a ton of them, and REI's probably got
Mm-hmm.
some sales going on this week. But either of those I'd recommend.
Yeah, it's not Maxpedition, but I've got like a brand kind of like this where it's like kind of one of these tactical bags. Um, and that's what I use for if I'm going out just for like drone shooting. Because I have it unzips on the side and it has those little shelves in it, so it's like DSLR style, but it's bright orange inside, so it's really easy to see when I open it up in like low light. So if I'm going and
Hmm.
like flying my drone specifically, I'll go, very, very early in the morning when it's still dark out and I'm like having to see inside of a bag. So this bright orange makes it easy to see. Also, it's a little bit more rugged, and that doesn't get like torn up if I'm like hiking in somewhere like over by the lake or something to launch my drone from. But
Hey,
yeah,
can
it's
you
it's
bring
not
up
actual
Daryl's
Maxpedition, it's
comment,
some other brand.
the most recent
So
one?
yeah, challenges to pick only a few items. Yeah, if I take my in-case bag, I pack it down so heavy that it's a cumbersome experience. That's why I have that like smaller kind of tactical bag for just flying my drone.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. It's really hard for me not to over prepare. I'm like, do I have this
Hmm.
cable? Do I have that cable? My bags have bags. Like, so in my
Yeah.
backpack, I have like three other bags full of just cables and accessories. And because I'm always worried that
Hmm.
like I'm not going to have that one that I need. Fortunately, um, I got this little guy from the MVP program, and this one's actually been really good. I can throw most of the cables that I need in there. It's flat, it's lightweight, it's got a solid bottom in it. I'm sure most of the MVPs
I
got
was
this
just
one.
gonna pull mine out too. That this is what I use for my chargers. also
Yeah.
is the little MVP bag. I also have like a bunch of little canvas bags that, like this one has a bunch of GoPro stuff inside of it. So there's like a whole bunch of screws and stuff like that for GoPros. But yeah, this is a nice bag, the MVP one.
Yeah,
It's by,
I agree.
I wonder if it has like a name on it that you can buy.
Yeah, I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't see a name on it, but I guess become an MVP 2 years ago. So,
Actually,
yeah, bags are fun to talk
I do
about.
have one.
You
One
have another
more.
one?
Sorry. This is an STM. It's just a laptop bag.
That's a pretty good looking little bag.
Yeah, I got this
Yeah.
like a TJ Maxx or something years ago. It's kind of like felt lined in the center. It's got one pocket, which is really nice. It's lightweight. So if I'm gonna do like just a one off, and all I need is my laptop, then that's the one I'm gonna take with me. I can throw my laptop, I can throw my charger and a couple of cords in there, and it's super lightweight. But that was not gonna be more for the camera stuff. If I'm doing anything with the camera stuff, having the peak design, and it's kind of where I'm going to go because, to Daryl's point, I tend to bring everything because I'm always worried I'm going to miss something.
Yeah. I've got a slide on my like a run and gun setup also as we talk about like travel and going back into the office. I've kind of been planning some stuff. So I've got a thing like right at the end about that one. Should we move on to audio, you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we've got a couple of comments out here for audio. We got Hossein. Hossein is asking about, he's looking for microphones, trying to figure out a microphone situation, but mainly one that blocks background noise, kids, office wife, things like that. And he likes that you can have it out of frame, but you also have good noise cancellation, which is kind of a conflicting concept when it comes to microphones. And then also John Ernst is kind of looking for the same thing. So he's looking for a good cardioid pattern microphone, which if you guys haven't heard of what a cardioid pattern is, cardioid basically means that it rejects the sound from behind and next to the microphone, and it picks up the sound coming from the front of the microphone. It kind of avoids the sides. Most of these microphones that you're going to see here have that cardioid pattern, or polarization is what they call it. I kind of categorized my microphone suggestions into two categories or two areas here. I've got the microphones that live on a desk or on an arm, and they're generally going to be seen in a shot unless you do like some special finagling to get it just outside of frame. That's what I've got over here on the left. And then on the right side, I've got microphones that are designed to be outside of the shot. So they're definitely gonna not be obtrusive and not kind of have the radio announcer look what I've got going on right now. And those ones are all cardioid pattern microphones. But what I've got, hey buddy, how's it going?
This is Paw Patrol.
You gonna watch Paw Patrol?
Yes.
Okay, why don't you watch some Paw Patrol? So that's my 3-year-old Finn. He's jumping around like crazy. And what I've got is on the inside the frame microphones, I really like these three options here. The bottom one is the one that Andy showed, which is the Rode NT USB Mini. And then I've tried out the Elgato Wave. This one right here is called the Elgato Wave 3, but there's also an Elgato Wave 1, which is the only difference is this button right here on the front. On the Elgato Wave 3, that button can switch between 3 different settings. One of them is your mic gain, one of them is your headphone volume, and then the other one is like the mix of how much headphones and how much microphone do you hear in your own headphones. The Wave 1, I think the Wave 1 probably would be the one to go for of those two options, because that you don't really need that button all that much. So I wouldn't spend the extra money. And then up here at the top, this is what I have right now, which is the Shure MV7. So I'm using the Shure MV7 with something called the Wave XLR from Elgato. And the Wave XLR is what gives me the ability to do those sound effects. So I can play sound effects inside through my microphone. That works in Microsoft Teams. It works in live streams, also recordings and things like that. But I can also add multiple channels to it. So I'll show you the Wavelink software. Hit configure Wavelink. This is what the software looks like for the Elgato side of things. And I'll have Andy show what it looks like for Rode. But I've got the Wave XLR, which is the microphone itself. I can turn that up and down. And if I click on here, I can adjust the settings for how loud I want it to be. I can turn on different filters and clip guard so that it keeps it from clipping and getting too loud and distorted. But then I can add other channels. I think I can add up to 8 more channels or something like that. So I've got one that's just my Spotify music. So if I want to play music into a Teams meeting, I can play it directly through the software. The sound effects, this is the buttons on my Stream Deck are going through this channel. And then I can just keep adding channels here, and I can add like Microsoft Edge or PowerPoint or other things that have audio on them. I can bring them in, and then I can control like what the sound level is. So I really like having this set up, and it's going over an XLR connection. The Shure MV7 also has a USB option. So I originally bought it. This is a $350 microphone, and I bought it. I just plugged it into USB, and I use it like that. It works great just over USB. But when I wanted to add these other virtual channels, I went with the Wave XLR, which is another $160. So altogether, what is that? $510, I think, total, if I'm doing the math right. But it gives me a lot of versatility. It gives me a really, really high quality microphone. If you're going to just do XLR, they do sell a Shure MV7 Plus, I think, or something like that. It's a Shure MV7 like special version that only has XLR. And I want to say it's like $100 cheaper. So it's like $250 instead of $350 or something like that. And then what I've used in the past, when I'm doing run and gun stuff, like what Daryl mentioned earlier, I need to move light. I can't unbolt this thing from my desk and just take it anywhere. So I use something called the Rode Wireless Go. And I know Andy's going to talk about this as well, but I would like to upgrade to the Rode Wireless Go 2, because then I would be able to use the Rode software, get that multi-track audio, the virtual channels and stuff like that. Plus, I don't know, Andy, if you got the dual one, but there's a version that has 2 transmitters and 1 receiver. So you could mic up 2 people and do that on a live stream and have 2 people with their own lapel microphone. The nice thing about this smaller option is you just clip it to your shirt. It's pretty well hidden. You're not going to see the microphone in the shot nearly as bad. And both of these are really good at rejecting sound. One thing that you're going to want to watch out for if you pick the Elgato or the Rode is these ones are what's called a condenser microphone. So they pick up, my son has been yelling like basically the entire live stream, but you probably haven't heard him very much because I'm using a dynamic microphone that's way better at background rejection. It requires more power to drive it, but it's not nearly as sensitive as these other 2 microphones are. So that's just something to think about. If you're in a loud environment, like you have kids running around and you have wood floors like I do, a dynamic microphone is probably a better bet. If you're, in a fairly quiet space and it's a controlled environment, a condenser microphone might be your best bet. So that's my thoughts about microphones. What do you think, Andy?
So yeah, let's dive into this. I came from the Yeti world, Blue Yeti. I bought mine back in 2014. I had the gray one and used it for a long time. It was not very portable. I did find a custom case for it on Amazon, so I could carry it with me if I needed it, and I would use it occasionally for like an in-person event, a delivery or something if I needed the microphone. But I got mine way back in 2014. I've heard over the years that I think Logitech bought Blue, and then they kind of switched up the manufacturing process. And I've heard the new ones are not as good as what they had previously. I wanted to upgrade my my mic arm situation, and so there was a Blue Yeti package where you got the microphone, and then there's a microphone arm called the Blue Compass, and it looks really good. But the problem is, it's kind of like Ricky Bobby. It doesn't know what to do with its hands, and so it just kind of like raises up
Yes.
depending on like how heavy the microphone is. There's a whole lot of YouTube videos around it. There's a good Peter McKinnon podcast. He's just sitting there and the thing's just raising up constantly. And I'm not a huge fan of that, but I like the rest of the arm because it hides all the cables and everything. But I didn't like that the Yeti wasn't portable. And every now and then, like, I want to take my microphone with me. Like if I'm going to go do a podcast at a SharePoint Fest, I want to have like my microphone. I want to, you know, and be able to do my setup or whatever. And so the portability of this just wasn't there. And so I started looking around, and one of the things I was super interested in, and this is going to get back into my microphone thing, was the Rodecaster Pro. This is a XLR podcasting setup from Rode, where you get sliders so you can control the input level of the various microphones that you've got coming in. It would support 4 microphones. You could have a phone connected to it, and you could have somebody dial in. And then it has these physical buttons that you can assign sounds to, and you can play the sounds off of it. And there's sliders and everything for it. You can monitor all of your levels, and then it's got the built-in power for the dynamic mics like John's using. And I've had my eye on this for like 2 years, but it's not cheap. It's like $700, and I'm like, I just can't, like, it's not worth it for me to have to pay $700 for this and then have to pay for a microphone on top of it, and then still maybe have to buy another piece of hardware to power the microphone, depending on like the dynamic mic, and it uses XLR, and that's a whole bunch of stuff to like travel with. If I had just like a standalone, like reoccurring, like weekly podcast, that might make a ton of sense for me. Tom Buck on YouTube, you know, makes perfect sense for him.
Steve
I loved all the
Goodman
features.
in the tech community, he uses one of these with his podcast.
I would totally geek out on one of these, but it was cost prohibitive. So what I ended up going with is the Rode NT USB Mini, and there's a few reasons I did it. Number one, at the time it was $100, but you could get these. I've seen them for as low as $80. Number two, it can support a podcast setup with 4 of these because of the software that actually powers it. The software that powers it is Rode Connect. And I'm going to show it to you because Rode Connect is basically the Rodecaster Pro in software format. So this is my input. So I can have 4 microphones running through this. It supports the NT USB Mini. It supports the NT, the bigger brother. It supports the Rode Wireless Go 2. And I think there's like 2 other mics that it supports now. So I can have 4 mics running through this. I can have my system audio running through it. I can have virtual audio running through it. And I can have sound effects. And I can control it all software based right from here. It's even got a built-in recorder, so I can record audio directly into it, like whatever I want. And then I can bring in the wireless goes if I need it. But I also get the ability to control things like the levels. It has a built-in noise gate and a compressor. It's also got the big bottom end for the radio voice, and then it's got an exciter, which kind of helps with the mids just a little bit. And I can control all of it. There's a simple setup process that you walk through. You can monitor out however you want. I'm actually monitoring out right now. I'm right in the back of the microphone. There's a headphone jack, and I can turn up the headphone level right from there. It's all powered the USB, so it's just one cable that I have to deal with. But I've been a huge fan, and we've had some struggles dialing it in over some of our live streams over the last couple of months. More of that's moving between computers. But I'm a huge fan of it. And this software is free. So if you're interested in that, I've seen the NT USB minis. I've seen them for as low as $80 in some places. They're also
like
super portable.
100, right?
Yeah, it's normally 100. But it's super portable. I can throw this in my backpack, and all I need is the USB cable. It's got a built-in little stand that connects magnetically, but like in my setup, I have it connected to my boom arm. And as somebody mentioned in the comments, I can keep it out of frame, and I think it does a pretty good job of picking up the audio, even with it being out of frame. And it is a little sensitive because it is a compressor mic. So like if I move in my chair, you can probably hear that a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, not
Yeah,
much.
just a little. But I'm between me and the door, so it blocks a lot of sound on the back end. I've been a huge fan of this. There's a beta program where you can test out some new features, and the beta is like free to join up on. Just go to Rode's website, and you can find it from there. The other thing that I'm a big fan of is John mentioned these a little bit. The Wireless Go 2. These are wireless lavaliers. Now I've got it. It's pretty amazing. You've got a receiver unit. Throw it on the ground. The receiver unit is super, super small. It'll fit in the cold shoe adapter on the top of your camera. It'll fit right next to your computer. Plugs in with USB-C, so pretty fast connection. You can run one or two lavaliers at the same time. You can also use the lavaliers and have one be a right channel and one be a left channel, depending on the audio that you want to work with. So
really?
the receiver's really, really small. Yep. And then we've got the actual lavalier itself. Now it comes with the cat screen on the top, but you can take that off. Some people just pop it in just like that, and then they're off and running. And I mean, it's not too
it's not very
obtrusive.
intrusive at all.
Yeah, or obnoxious. But you can get a standalone actual like lavalier. This is a Rode lavalier. Just goes right on my collar, and I can run that right into the Wireless Go, and I can run the Wireless Go right into the Rode Connect software, and I can take advantage of that. I can even record directly on the receiver unit, and there's a whole bunch of settings. There's just another piece of Rode software. What's that?
Is there memory on the receiver, or is it like
there's
an SD card or something?
Yeah, there's some memory on the receiver.
Really? That's interesting. That's not on the first version. Huh.
Yeah, I eyeballed this thing for like a year before I bought it, but it's really great because like I can stand up and walk away from the desk and I don't lose audio quality. My friend of the community, friend here in the Charlotte area, Daniel Christian, he and I were at SharePoint Fest Chicago back over the summer together. I had my podcast set up in the pod center, and we were talking microphones, and he was looking at getting the Rode Video Pro mic, and I was like, yeah, let me show you this one, and we'll test it out. I walked across the conference hall with the Wireless Go, never lost signal. I mean, we're talking like probably 50, 75 yards away, never lost signal at all. It just kept coming through. I've seen line of sight. Some people have walked 600 feet and it still picks up. It's great. And I mean, it just plugs into your computer with a USB-C. I mean, there's even an option for you to plug it into your phone. They've got a phone adapter as well, so you can use it as part of your phone. Here, this the phone setup right there.
Yeah.
There we go.
Get that autofocus. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's got a nice little carry case. Comes with, and everything you need.
That's a little bit
right
bigger
in the bag.
than mine.
Yeah.
I'll grab my bag and show you the Rode. It must be in my Pelican case. Yeah, the one for the version 1 is like that big. It's like half the size of the carrying case, but you only have one transmitter and one receiver.
Yeah, this one comes with 2.
Yeah, I'm really interested in that. That second
Somebody's
version.
asking about the range. I think the range, the far end range is like 600 feet. I mean, it's pretty far. I've even seen some people test it through brick walls, cinder block walls, and they're not line of sight. They're not direct line of sight, and it still works. So the range is actually pretty good. But I don't have a full tech on that one.
I think it's rated at 300 feet. I think I'm trying to look it up. 70 meters. So it's 70 meters to feet. 229 feet if you're using
All
free.
right, so way less than 600. But I mean, Curtis Judd
Yeah,
has a
but
really good YouTube on it.
yeah, it's one of those rare things that like overperforms what's advertised. I've had really good experience with the version 1 of that as well. A couple of other comments we got on here. Daryl says he's got the Shure MV7 on its way today. So I'm a big fan of this one. I really like it. The one thing that I don't like about it is this gigantic Shure logo right here. If I turn off the comment, hide the comment, remove. There we go. This huge Shure logo right here is kind of obnoxious in my opinion. So what I'm wanting to do is I think maybe like near the end of the year, I'm going to like tape this all up and I'm going to buy some, I don't know if they have this in other parts of the world, but it's called Plasti Dip. And it's a spray, like a spray rubber or a spray plastic that I'm going to spray over this area here to kind of like make it all black. That'll make it look a little bit more like the Shure SM7B, which is like a $400 microphone. You know, and it'll look a little bit like not so crazy. And then Chris Hassenflug says that the MV7 is actually currently down to $220. So I've got that up on Amazon right here. If you're interested in this particular microphone, because it has USB and XLR on it, it's $220. And at least for me in the Kansas City area, it's 1-day shipping as well. So that like that's a really, really good deal because I paid $350 for this one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's
What's
like
that return window?
not as long as I've had mine. I got it from Guitar Center. So I think it was like 14 days, which is kind of a bummer.
Check their price matching policy.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that you know likes to get things fast. You know, so like I bought it locally. I bought this. It's been several months though. And then this is the XLR only version. So if you're definitely going to do like a Wave XLR or a Rodecaster Pro, then this is the non-USB version, and it's a little bit cheaper. It's $150. But probably if I was getting an XLR only microphone, I probably would get the Rode Pod mic because it's only $100 and it's a dynamic microphone. But this one for $220, like that's a really good deal in my opinion. Even though I know $200 is a lot to ask, a lot to spend on a microphone, but we're talking about, you know, treating yourself. getting fun stuff. So
yeah, can you
anything
go
else
back
about
to
microphones?
Yeah, bring
Got
up
your
my
screen
screen
here?
one more time, please.
Yeah.
So I was talking about with the Yeti or the Blue Yeti that Logitech had bought them, and there were some changes. And I heard about this on the Tom Buck podcast not too long ago. Apparently, all the original engineers for the Yeti went and formed this company called Neat Microphones, and they've got this thing called the King Bee. Obviously, they really lean into the bee theme, so these are
cool.
out there. Yeah, they look way different. I've seen a couple of or a couple of Tom's vlogs on YouTube, and they sound really, really good, but they're USB powered. So if you want something a little different, a little out there, but that extends on what the Yeti line originally did, this might be something worth checking out. I haven't used one personally. I've just heard them through YouTube and through podcasts. I think the look's not quite what I would go for. I like to keep my microphones off to the side, but I mean they are definitely different. So might be something worth checking out.
Yeah, if that's your style.
Yeah.
Marilyn says one thing to think about if you're like connecting something to your phone. You showed your little phone adapter. Is that, to her knowledge, iPhone FaceTime application doesn't support external microphones. So that might be something to keep in mind. I've never used FaceTime with an external mic, so I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that works in Teams, but it could be, a FaceTime specific thing. So buyer beware if you're looking at hooking it up to your phone for that.
Yeah.
Awesome. So next on my list, as far as like categories go, is interfaces. So this is for the people who are wanting to get into live streaming or recording locally on like a different device. We talked about laptops and how the Mac M1 is like crazy powerful and super nice. You can do everything on the computer itself. But if you're really wanting to step up to a whole nother level, a lot of people get a dedicated interface for their setup, especially for live streaming. And there's a few popular options out there. There's the ATEM Mini, which Andy talked about earlier on, as far as like a capture device. This is what I have personally, as well as the ATEM Mini. One thing to keep in mind on it is there's 3 versions of the regular one. There's the regular, the Pro, and then the Pro ISO. So I have just the regular version, so it does not do streaming itself. It's only a camera switcher. If you want to step up to the next level in Blackmagic design, there's the new ATEM Mini Extreme, which you can get the Extreme or the Extreme ISO. This one will do live streaming directly off of the device through Ethernet directly on your network. And then 2 other devices that are out there that are kind of these compact all-in-one streaming interfaces. One is one that I tested out and I did a review about a while back, is Epiphan. This is the Pearl Nano. So this one, if you're getting into more high-end stuff like SDI cameras instead of HDMI connections, you're wanting to add graphics that are stored on the device and you want to manage it more in like an enterprise friendly way, this one is pretty attractive, and this live streams directly on the device. It also has storage capabilities, so you can put an SD card in there. You can also put a what do they call it? The NVMe, like the little SSD chips. You can put that in the bottom of it and record directly on the device. And then something I'm interested in is this guy, the YOLO Box Pro, which the name I think is unfortunate. YOLO Box kind of sounds like cheesy, but from what I've heard, it's a really impressive device. People like Aaron Parecki, other YouTubers that I watch are using these. And this one has multiple HDMI inputs into it. You store the graphics on the tablet itself. It live streams directly off of the device itself. I think it records locally as well. Both of these are in the about $1,000 to $1,300 range. I think the YOLO Box is like $1,300. The ATEM is like $1,000 if you don't get the ISO version. And then what I have is I have the ATEM Mini. If you're going to go into live streaming and more than just camera switching, I probably would not recommend the ATEM Mini unless you get the Pro. I think it's probably worth it to step up to the Pro so that you have that capability to do more with it. You also get like multi-view out, so you could hook a monitor up to it and see all of your views on a separate monitor. So I probably would spring for the Pro. If you really want to go big, I'm pretty interested in these 2 devices. I'm definitely not going to buy them this Christmas, but maybe in the next year I might look at them. YOLO Live, if they ever see this and they want to send me one of these, like Epiphan sent me a test unit of the Pearl Nano, I would be happy to review it and check it out, just because like I'm all about democratizing live streaming and figuring out what I can recommend other people to kind of get into live streaming on a budget, but also doing it kind of easier than what maybe OBS Studio or something is. So I'm pretty interested in those. I don't know, Andy, if you've got anything else to add to what you use for the ATEM Mini and setup. You have the regular Mini, right?
Yeah, I have the regular Mini, and I definitely agree with you. If I could step up to the Pro or to the ISO, I would, because you get the multi-view out. You also get the ability to record directly from the Mini when you do the Pro or the ISO. The base does not support that. Also,
you can plug an SSD into it, right? And then
you can record directly from it. So you can record the video of the stream, and you can have that like directly on an SSD and not have to like store it on local memory and then move it over. So definitely agree with you on that. If I could, I would look at upgrading the Mini. Now, there's a couple other things I want to point out about it. John mentioned like streaming. It's a hardware encoding device, meaning it will do the encoding and it will offload that from your computer. So if you're on a little bit older device, it just connects via USB-C to your laptop or desktop or whatever, but it will offload the encoding process. So it's going to handle things like downscaling. It broadcasts at 1080p. It's not a 4K device. It doesn't support 4K, but if your camera is running 4K, it will downscale that for you on the device level before feeding it into your system. It also does things like picture-in-picture. You can offload that to the device and have it do picture-in-picture, and so you can have two different feeds and you can layer them one on top of another, which is really, really good. And you don't have to like worry about setting up like an OBS and a software-based solution. And there are physical buttons on there for you to switch back and forth. It also allows you, as you're switching between cameras, you have options to cut and fade, and you can preview and program it inside of there. There's a couple of dedicated microphone inputs into it as well, and then it also supports chroma keying. So you can do a green screen and you can have it chroma key out the green screen and then just send whatever is left from that and do overlays with your content, which is really, really good. And then it can be controlled via your network. So there's software that goes along with it. I don't know if I have it on this computer or not. Let me see real quick. Yeah. So I'll just pull this up so you can see it. So this is the ATEM software, and so when I connect to it and it finds the switcher, that's the interface that I use to control the ATEM Mini. But I don't have to run it on this computer. If I have another computer on the network, I can run it on another computer, and I can control the switching and things like from here. So like I could set my laptop up here and go stand on the other side of the room and maybe have my laptop off to the side and control this and do all of my switching and so forth. I can manage like my chroma keys. I can manage my fades and my transitions. I can put graphics and media and use that for like lower thirds and overlays. The ATEM supports all of that. And like at the time, like when I bought it, this was around $300 to put all the hardware capabilities or to offload that from my computer. Saved a ton of resources, CPU and GPU, but then you got physical buttons. So like if I'm in the middle of a podcast, like I can just sit there and hit the camera switch button, and I don't have to look at it. Just kind of like the knob on the dashboard of the car. Like a physical volume knob is so much better than a digital interface, because the digital interface you have to look at versus the physical one you can just grab it and turn. Same thing here. So I'm a big fan of that. I do have the Elgato Key CamLink, but that's just for getting a video feed in. I can't do anything else with that. Now, John also mentioned some of the other devices that he's interested in. I'll tell you one that I am super interested in. I'm glad you brought this up. It's the Atomos Atomcast. It uses the Atomos Ninja 5, and it puts a video touchscreen player on top of it. So the Ninja is an external recorder for a lot of or for cinematography. The Atomos Ninja is kind of best in class for external recording. I can use the full 4K signal on my camera and record to the Ninja 5 and record in a number of different formats that my current camera doesn't support. And then it'll all be recorded on the Ninja. There's an SSD slot for it, and I can have HDMI and HDMI out, so I can use it for a monitoring device. Well, now they brought in a switcher component to it, so you can feed four cameras in it, see all of them in a live preview, and you can switch back and forth with them with physical buttons. And you get the SSD, and you get the HDMI's in and out, and you get the touchscreen interface. They just announced this.
Scroll down a little bit on that page. Like, that is super compact.
Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
And you can repurpose the Ninja, and you can go back and use that as your external recorder on your camera whenever you need it. So you can live stream with it, and they give you a ton of information about what you're live streaming. It does picture-in-picture. It does overlays and audios. It works as a switcher. So it does a little bit of everything. They announced this a few months back. I've been waiting to kind of see how it lands and how it actually gets reviewed. Atomos does a really good job of updating their software and giving you new features. There are some that are add-ons. So like I've seen a couple of cameras they went back and added some different encoding to, and there were some add-ons for it. But I'm really interested in this. And if you buy the package, the Ninja 5 and the ATEM Cast. If you buy them as a package, you save like $50 versus if you buy them individually. So I'm really interested in this. Just want to learn more, maybe test it out at some point before I commit. It's not. It's right around, I think, like $950, but it's pretty cool. Like, yeah, so that's what I'm super interested in.
One more thing I wanted to add too is if you're looking at either the ATEM Mini, the ATEM Mini Extreme, or the Yellow Box, there's a guy, he's a great YouTuber about live streaming, Aaron Parecki. He has a website, pk1.tv, and he makes these awesome stands for these devices. So definitely check into these. I 3D printed a smaller version for my ATEM. And what's cool about Aaron's is that it's got these little cold shoes in it. So you can mount a monitor to it. You can mount, this is one of those Rode Wireless Go microphones. So you could put your microphone receiver, your little monitor for your live streaming, all of that stuff on the device. It's also got areas where you can put what they call them, cheese plates from Small Rig. So you can mount those on the side. And then he also makes one for the YOLO box too. So again, you can have everything all, put into one device, have your microphone hanging off the side, your monitor mounted to the top of it, kind of have like a compact, like all-in-one live streaming, little like nest of stuff just all together like that. And then maybe you could pack that into like a Pelican case or something, take it on the go. But that would be something that I would look into if you're interested in these devices, is supporting this guy because he does a great job of sharing all kinds of information. So I would highly recommend giving him your support.
And he made that so you could also put a Stream Deck in front of it or side by side.
That's cool. Yeah, there's the extension. So yeah, you could have that mounted to next to your ATEM Extreme. Oh man, you could have like so much going on. That's pretty cool.
He definitely made the primary case though, so that you could put the Stream Deck directly in front and still be able to like run the cable without interfering with the ATEM that's angled right behind it.
Yeah,
if you wanted to do those
on the light,
front to
right?
back. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of gap underneath there, so you can fit your Stream Deck underneath the cable underneath it. Yep.
All right. I got one more thing in this category. Yeah. So I'll just bring this back up. I just want to point out, I pulled up the screen for the ATEM Cast. That's the add-on component. The Ninja Cast is the bundle where you get the
it's like
the Ninja
$400
5.
for the little backpack, right? And you put your own screen on it.
Yeah. So I just wanted to bring that back up. I'm super interested in there's the Ninja 5 and the Ninja 5 Plus. So there's a couple of different versions of it, but basically it's a monitor for the camera. Like if I bought the Sony A7C, there's a flip out screen there and it's pretty good, but this has the ability to do HDMI in and out, so I can monitor and still run it out. It has the ability to add in an SSD hard drive or solid state drive for recording. It has built-in codecs for recording what you're actually going to do, and you're putting it directly on the SSD. You can even go ahead and apply lookup tables, LUTs. So like if you brought your video feed out in like a S-Log3, that's going to give you the most dynamic range. It's going to basically give you all the information that the sensor can possibly get. And then you put a LUT on top of it, a lookup table, and then you can color grade it. And they have a whole bunch of built-in LUTs. They also have histograms and monitors built right in. This thing's pretty bright. I think it's like 1500 nits. So it's pretty bright. So you can use it in like direct sunlight and see what you need. And you can mount this directly on the camera, cold shoe on top, or you can put it on a cage, or, if you're monitoring at home, you can have it off to the side. And now with the ATEM Cast, you can make it a Ninja Cast, and you can use it as a streaming device as well. I'm super interested in that, but I think hopefully sometime maybe in the next year or so, I'll be able to get a Ninja 5 and add that to my monitoring solution with what I have now, because I can basically offload all the recording to this, and I don't have to worry about the little memory cards in camera anymore, and I can just drop it right on SSD. And then with an SSD, I can drop that right through USB-C or Thunderbolt on my computer, and I can basically edit right from there, and I don't have to worry about internal storage anymore. So I'm really interested in that.
Nice.
So I have to keep looking
Couple
for a deal.
comments that we have are, so John Ernst, a buddy on my team, he says the ATEM also has an app that he uses on his iPhone. I have seen, there's like third-party apps that people use that connect over the network to the ATEM. If you've got the name of that app, John, if you're still watching, drop that in the chat and we'll show that on screen. And then Erin Dominguez, also on my team, is she says, I'm going to add all this stuff to the workforce adoption must-have streaming kit. We've been talking about that a little bit. Like, I bring my Pelican case of my stuff, and it's like a ton of stuff that I've bought myself, and it's like, we need to make this a little bit more so that you guys can start recording the shows, you guys can start live streaming, so that like it's not all reliant on me and the stuff that I've bought. So we've been trying to think of like, what do we need to buy if Cerner were to buy, and provide the equipment, not relying on, on me buying stuff.
That's how it started for me. It was webcams and Logitech webcams and some kind of like Jabra pucks and projectors. So a company I was contracting with, they would send these things out in these giant Pelican case. I mean, huge Pelican case. And some of the stuff was like 10 or 15 years old, and it didn't work great. And I'm like, let me just start like buying some of this on my own. And so like I bought my own Jabra updated puck system, and then I started getting into the better cameras. And it's like, all right, how can I bring my own streaming kit and not have to depend on this, and not have to go and deal with the FedExing in of the giant Pelican case? Now I'm trying to do a Pelican briefcase and take that with me wherever I need.
Yeah. Okay, so the next category I've got, you ready to move on to headphones?
Yeah, let's do it.
Speakers and stuff. So the next category, back to kind of like what normal people use, not like audio interfaces and video interfaces, is speakers and headphones. This is a pretty practical thing because if you're like me, you're either always on a meeting or you're always listening to music outside of that meeting. So what I've got is I have actually used these two devices. This is what I've settled on in my home office. Is I use the Microsoft Surface Pro or Microsoft Surface Headphones 2 Plus. It's a bit of a mouthful, but I recommend the 2 Plus if you're going to go with the Microsoft option, because these ones are actually Teams certified. So they have the Microsoft Teams button on the back of them. There's a USB dongle that's wireless that's plugged into my dock. And that allows me, I can just tap to mute in Teams and I can tap to unmute. So I really like that functionality. They're also active noise canceling, which is really a great thing to have, especially when you've got a 3-year-old at home. With these, there's 2 rotatable ear cups. So on the right-hand side, if I rotate that up or down, that turns the volume up or down. And on the left side, if I turn the knob up or down, it controls the amount of noise cancellation. So I can have it all the way on, or I can turn them down and then I can hear like outside noises. So those are really good, especially if you're like in an open office environment, you're back on site in the office and you need to be able to hear somebody trying to get your attention. You can turn down the noise cancellation as well. The second thing that I've used is on the speaker side. I have this this guy right here. I'll untangle it, which is the Microsoft Modern USB-C speaker. And this is another Teams certified device. It has the Teams button right here. It also has a little phone switch button, like a little handset on a phone. And this is great because it's got those shortcuts on it, so I can just reach down and mute and unmute in a Teams call. The other thing that's special about this device is it has a push-to-talk feature. So if you're muted in a meeting and then you press and hold the microphone, it will unmute while your finger's holding down the button. So you can say, hey, that sounds great, guys. And then you let go with your finger and it goes back on mute automatically. So that's a really nice feature for that. This is about $100 for this speaker. It's USB-C. And then the headphones, I think, are $299. I think they're $300. And then I haven't tried these personally, but what I've heard out there for team certified specific devices are people really like this PolySync 20 is what it's called. It's another speakerphone option that you plug in. And I think this one might work over Bluetooth as well, but I've heard a lot of good things about the Poly. The Jabra headsets are always a really popular choice as well. And then there's Bose actually has a team certified device. These are called I think the UC700, I think is what they're called. Yeah, the Bose UC700. These ones are also team certified because they have that little USB dongle. So again, you can mute, unmute with the press of a button and all of that. And I know Andy has different options that he's done for microphones. So I'll switch over to his screen real quick.
Yeah, so I've been in the Bose Quiet Comfort family for a long time. When I first started traveling and working remote, that was about 10 or 12 years ago. And right away, I went to the Bose QC15s, which were a wired option. And I loved them. My wife's actually using them right now to work from home in the other room. But the thing I didn't like about them was they had the world's longest cord. And no matter what, I would get on an airplane and start walking down the aisle, and the cord would get tangled up in the armrest, and it would yank the cord or yank the headphones off of my ear. And so a couple years later, my wife bought me the QC35s. I think that's what I have right now. These are Bluetooth. Yeah, they're Bluetooth powered. You can connect them to two devices at the same time. They have a corded option. I'm using that today. Full noise canceling. Battery lasts forever. The battery's been really good in these. And the noise canceling is just absolutely amazing. So for me, this was a must-have when traveling. I just throw them on, get on the airplane, and not have to worry about it. Working from home, they've been great. It minimizes a lot of the background noise. I'm a big fan of those. If I'm in a conference bridge-like situation, the Jabra Pucks are really good. The Jabra Speak 510. I've had a couple of them. To John's point, push button mute, push button physical button to increase or decrease the volume. And on a Mac Mini, there is an internal speaker. It's not good at all. Having this as that external speaker has been absolutely great. But if I'm like in a hybrid classroom training scenario, and like, I need to reach both audiences, I'll usually put one of these on the desk like in front of me, and it picks up pretty well across the entire room. They have some newer versions of it. I've had the 510 now for a couple years. It can be Bluetooth powered, or you can plug it in with USB-A and you can run it from there. It's been rock solid. Haven't had any issues there. As far as like other sound devices, Anker actually makes a really good portable little speaker. I got it because it's like $35, and like I don't have to worry about my kid destroying it. I don't have it here because it's downstairs in all my camping equipment, and I'm not going to go and get it. But this is my unit. And I don't have this in the slide deck. This is the Bose SoundLink Mini. So it does have a built-in battery pack. It's got a USB mini charger. I've had this thing for, I don't know, since like 2007 or something like that. I got it as a Christmas gift. This thing has been absolutely great. It carries a charge for a pretty long time. They don't make it anymore, so I didn't include any slides on it. But if like I'm going to listen to music in my office, this little thing is super duper powerful. I mean, it has really good low end, really good mid range. It gets really, really loud. There's a couple of different ways to charge it. It's really heavy. If it doesn't work, you can throw it, make a good brick. But I've had really good luck with that. Outside of that, I don't do the only other speaker thing that I have, and the thing that I can't live without, is the AirPods.
I don't use these with my computer, but this is all I use with my iPhone and my iPad. These are.
I use it
always in my pocket.
Everywhere. Yeah, they're always in my pocket. They're always charged. They charge pretty quickly, but I use them everywhere. I use them on my Apple TV. I use them on my computer. I use them on my iPad. I use them on my my iPhone. I'm a huge fan of the AirPods. They're great. They stay in my pocket, right? I don't even carry my car keys anymore because these are usually in my pocket. I used to just throw the car keys in the center console and go. But like I can't live without these because kids and dogs and travel and everything. And the spatial audio stuff they did in it is great. So like watching a movie, I'll sometimes use these to watch a movie, but the AirPods just connect to the Apple TV a little bit better, and like I can watch it at like whatever ear shattering level that I want, and not have to worry about it. So AirPods for the win.
We got Erin Dominguez. If I move this over a little bit, yeah, she's a big Bose fan as well. So she uses the USB link, and then uses the Surface headphones for Teams meetings on the Cerner device. So, but yeah, I'm the same. Like anything Apple, I'm using my AirPods. I used to use the Bose QC35s, so I've got the same ones as you, but mine are silver. When I got the Surface headphones, I ended up giving my Bose headphones to my wife, and she uses them downstairs in the basement now for doing woodworking stuff. So we have a wood shop in our basement, and you know, when you're cutting things and there's like, you know, the dust collector is on and it's just this background noise all the time, she can put those on and it just vanishes. So
Yeah.
Bose has like, I mean, best in class noise cancellation, especially.
I've been really happy with them, and they're really comfortable. Like we wear them here and do a 2-hour live stream. I don't even notice they're on my head half the time.
Yeah, I really liked the shape of the ear cups for those ones for sure. The Surface headphones, they're not quite as comfortable because they're more round, you know, but I still wear them for hours a day and don't have a problem either. So Christopher Lodge here, he says, probably a dumb question, but any thoughts on the Galaxy Buds Pro? I have not used those with my device. I want to say one of the guys on my team, I thought maybe Spencer on my team used Galaxy Buds. Like maybe he bought some for his wife a while back, I think. But I'm not quite sure. If anybody has any thoughts about the Galaxy Buds, put those in the chat and let us know if
Yeah,
those
feel
are a
free to
good
chime
option.
in there.
Yeah. I know Amazon has some wireless earbuds as well that work with their voice assistant. I won't say her name because it'll make mine go off in my room. But apparently the Amazon ones are pretty good too because you can like call up the voice assistant easily from your earbuds, which is pretty cool. Okay, anything else about headphones and speakers that you can think of?
I think it's time for lighting.
All
Lights,
right.
camera,
So
action.
switching over to lighting, what I've got for lighting is a few things. What I've personally used is I really like the Elgato Key Light. This is a pretty premium product. It's $200, but it might be on sale around Black Friday, so you might be able to get some money off. I think it might be live on Best Buy right now. Elgato's sale, I've heard that Elgato's sale on their own website starts tomorrow, I believe. So keep an eye out on elgato.com for all kinds of stuff. Pretty much like the name is so good for Elgato that like I'll recommend almost anything from them because like everything is good quality. But I use this key light. That's what's lighting up my face right now. It's off here to the side at like a 45-degree angle. You can kind of see how bright it is on my hand. And what I like about it, the reason why I went with the Elgato and spent that extra money is because it works with my Stream Deck. So I'll talk next about the Stream Deck, and it's this button interface on my desk that allows me to do automations and do a bunch of shortcuts. So I have one button that turns on and off this light. So this is how I normally look whenever I'm just doing like focus work. I'm sitting in my office working. And then when I go onto a meeting or I go to get ready for a live stream or to record myself, I press one button. It turns on that key light. It also turns on my hue lighting, which is the second thing mentioned here. That is behind me. I've got, let's see, on this side, there's one of these Hue color light bulbs. So this guy right here is inside this lamp behind me. And then behind my TV on the other side are what's called the Hue Play Bar lamps. So they're actually stuck to the either side of the TV. And then that way I've got all color behind me. And I've got these color lights also above me in my ceiling light fixture. So with the press of one button, I can adjust all of the lighting in this room. Every single light works with Stream Deck. Something that I'm kind of interested in, or I've been looking at, is the Elgato light strip. They've gone into lighting also for like, accent lighting and stuff. And what I like about the idea of the Elgato light strip is it won't flicker on screen. So it doesn't mess with like the frame rate on your camera and cause like a flickering sensation. So if I were going to light up this right here, this shelf that I have, to add some lighting to that, I've thought about doing the Elgato lights for that reason. But that's what I've got for lighting. I've got a couple of comments here. Marilyn says the Elgato Twitter account is a lot of fun to follow. Also, yes, if you're on Twitter,
concur.
go follow the Elgato one. That's where they're going to announce their sale. Apparently, they sent out a newsletter for their sale earlier, like last week at some point, and I missed it. So that's what I'm bummed out because I wanted to see what they had for sale before this live stream, and I missed it on the thing. Cole says he got his mom the Galaxy Buds and she loves them. So there's an endorsement from Cole Johnson that the Galaxy Buds are good. Erin says that she has the Key Light Air, which is the smaller version, and it works good for her. So it's $122 on Amazon right now. So it's also on sale. I think it's normally $150. And the Key Light Air is a smaller version. It's on a stand that sits on your desk. So it's like on a base. Mine, the Key Light, the big Key Light, has a clamp that clamps onto your desk. So there's a little bit of a difference there. But the Key Light Air is also a really good option. They just have like really good soft light as well. John Ernst says he really recommends the Philips Hue lights. The color lights are great for adding some ambience to your setup. Yeah, I've also done the Hue app as well. They do like a color loop. And you can even, I don't know, John, if you've seen this on Spotify, if you have Spotify and Hue, you can connect the two of them so that the Hue app will sync your music. So you can have like color matched to your music if you want to. Ryan Mullen says, how do you avoid the colors not washing out behind you? I have some nano leaf shapes, but they just look white behind me. Really what it is I think it's about having two layers of lighting, having a separate light source that lights you up so that the background can be a lot darker. That's why like I've got, oh, I didn't push it hard enough. There we go. The Hue lights worked that time. When it's just normal, like these are a little bit brighter in the background, and then my ceiling light is on 100%, but I'm really dark right now. So if I press this button, it lights me up separately, and these are actually dimmed to about 25% brightness. So I have a much darker background than the foreground. So I kind of pop off the background a little bit. It adds some depth. That wall's about 15 feet behind me. It's like a 15-foot room. But that kind of helps with not washing out the colors to have it a little bit darker tone. I also have them on really, really bold colors. So it's like a bright, bright pink and a bright, bright blue. So it adds a little bit more like saturation to it. But yeah, that's what I've got for that. What do you have on your list, Andy?
So just like you, I have the Elgato Key Light. I actually have two of them. I've got a key here, and then I've got one just off to the angle over here. I really, really like them with one small gripe, and I'll show you this live. All right, so I'm going to go up here to my Elgato Control Center. So you see one light is there as I'm talking. Now you see two. As I continue to talk, it's going to drop off. These use the 2.4 Wi-Fi network. And this is the third computer that I've had this issue with. The control center just connects to the network and then disconnects. I've tried a bunch of different things. Scott Hanselman from Microsoft, he had a similar complaint, and so he figured out how to drill down into the Windows operating system and find out the device, and he was able to hard code it to his router, and that helped. I'm on an Apple, and I haven't figured out how to do that yet. That's my big complaint, is that it just constantly drops. So like I've got it on my Stream Deck and I can see it, but it flashes on, it flashes off like constantly. That being said, I love it because I can change the color. So I can make it cooler, I can make it warmer. I have control. I can make it way brighter when it works. I can tune it down whenever I need it. But I love those for the key light and the side lighting, and they work with the Stream Deck, which is great. There's even a mobile app that they work with as well, and when they connect to the network, you can see them on that. So I'm a big fan of them. I just wish they worked. The control center was better, or I wish I could control them via Bluetooth, and I really wish I could control them with HomeKit. So the next thing I'm going to show you is my background light, and you can barely see it. It's kind of like right above my shoulder, like right there on the right. I've actually got a company called LifeX. You can find their lighting through Best Buy and places like that. I went with this because it's way more affordable than the Philip Hughes strip lights, and they were rated really good. I got a few of them. They connect through Wi-Fi as well, but they are really stable, and they also connect to HomeKit. So I can literally walk into my office and just say, "Hey, person, turn on the office lights," and they just come on. But the cool thing about it is all the different things that I can do with it. So I get complete control of what the strip looks like. I can make it brighter. I can make it, less bright. They come like packages, so you can just, switch off one of these. You can even go to a solid light if you like. But one of the really cool things is the stuff on the homepage here. There's some different animations, like a color cycle, so it just rotates through. You can create an animation, a flicker effect. There's all these visualizations built in. You can connect it into a scene. So I really like having that as just kind of a background or like an ambient light, like when I'm working. Like you can barely see it here, but it is providing an ambient light over here for me, and that just kind of helps, especially in like focus times. And I'll actually turn the camera so you can see it.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so I just have my my little shelving system over there kind of lit up on it, and then like I can go through and if I want to do like a color cycle, I can turn on the color cycle and it'll scroll through. Or if I want to do like a move option, it'll just start kind of drilling through. And then if I want to go back to a scene,
cool that it like paints down the strip different colors. With the hue, at least what I've had in the past is the hue strip was all one color for the LED strip. I think the newer ones might have like more color options, but is that one of those like tape on strips? So like it's flexible, or is that a light tube that's like rigid?
It's a strip. It's a tape on strip. I didn't tape it though. Right now I've just got it. I've got it wire tied to that shelf. That's the Container Store shelving unit. I've got two of them in my office. I love them because they're wall mounted and I can mount them up pretty high. And then like I've got a sitting area like underneath that. But that's kind of the background ambient light for me.
Nice. Yeah, Ryan Mullins says Nano Leaf has some really nice effects too, just like LifeX. Yeah, it's when I first started with all of this, it was really Hue was about the only one that worked with the Stream Deck. Now there's plugins for LifeX, for Nano Leaf, for a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, I've been thinking about some other options like that. Because yeah, the Hue stuff is really expensive out there.
If you can find,
and I've had some flickering too, which is frustrating.
Yeah, if you can find the LifeX, it's actually really affordable price compared to the Hue stuff, and it doesn't require a hub. There's no center hub necessary for it. It works without the hub.
Yeah, and that's one annoyance that I've had with the Hue stuff is that like whenever I connect it to something else, I have to like run out of the room and go hit the button on the bridge and then come back in enough time, So you're kind of playing that dance with a bridge a little bit.
And then I got two other small ones here. We've talked about this one before. I'm just gonna like pull up the slide and the Aperture MC. This is a small little LED panel with a silicone diffuser. It charges via USB-C. It's got a really great battery life. It's magnetic, so you can connect it to something. It's got a couple of tripod mounts in it, and this one's super portable. I can throw it in my backpack, take it with me. I can mount it right on top of my camera, get really good diffuse light with it. Put it on a tripod right behind the laptop. But super portable, really lightweight, and it does some fun stuff. I had a lot of fun with this one at Halloween, spooky effects and fire and stuff like that. This one, I've seen it as low as like $80. Usually retails for around 100. But I'm a big fan of it, and you can control it via your phone as well, so you can do some cool stuff there. And then another one, my wife and I swear by these little guys. So this is an all-key. You can't find it on Amazon anymore because they kicked the brand off of Amazon, but they still have a website, and you can still buy them through their website. Yeah, they kicked All-Key and Rave Power and like 2 other ones off for violation of review terms. But this thing is great because USB-C charge, just a double little click, and it, well, when I have it turned on, a double little click,
like touch sensitive.
Yeah, and so you can make it dimmer, you make it brighter. But man, having a kid under 1 and having to go and change diapers in the middle of the night, this thing is amazing. We have 2 of these, and so I use these as background lights in my office sometimes. But we just have one set up in the baby's room and take it, and and the battery lasts for like weeks on end. It's great. And I've got a bigger version of it on the desk off to the side of me when I need just a light and I don't need the key lights on above me. But this little thing, it was like $20 on Amazon. And it's been great. I've had these for a couple of years now and really like them a lot.
Nice. Yeah. That would make a really nice little kind of soft light behind you. Those are called in lighting, those are called practicals, So if you're ever in a video or like you're watching a video and you see like a lamp in the background and you see like the exposed bulb, or you see even a table lamp with a light shade, that's called a practical light. And typically they're not providing any light to the scene. They're not lighting something up. They're just there to make it look like they are, like to make it look like it's providing some type of light. But typically your actual providing light is off screen, like a key light. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to look up that Aki light.
Yeah.
Anything
They've got
else about
a few different ones. No, I think we're good there.
Okay. So I've got 3 more categories here. And we kind of get more generic as we get to the end, which is, yeah, I can hear my 3-year-old yelling again. He's like, it's lunchtime. So there he is knocking on the door. The general home office, these are kind of things that don't really fall into another category for me. And what I've got on the list of things that I recommend are the Elgato Stream Deck. So I have the Stream Deck XL, which is 32 buttons. It does all kinds of amazing stuff. Probably everybody who's watching today has seen what the Stream Deck looks like or what it can do. But just to show you what mine looks like for this live stream is I have a profile set up that has all of these scenes. So whenever I'm switching back and forth between like our side-by-side scene, or if I show Andy's screen or my screen, those are all with the press of a button. And then if all hell breaks loose, I can click "We'll be right back," and it goes to like a little like screen that doesn't have our microphones on it. I can see how many people are watching this live stream. I can bring up, by pressing like those little folder buttons, I can bring up the little flags that say, our Twitter accounts and stuff. Really, really handy for all kinds of stuff. What I've got whenever I get to the software side of things, the very last category, is I also have this bottom row, which helps me with presentation stuff. And this one controls that lighting. So that's my button that turns my light off, turns my light back on. This one is a button that I press to annotate my screen. So I can press that and I can like start drawing on my screen. This button right here is what turns on that cursor highlighter. And then I have another button that shows keyboard shortcuts. So if I do a keyboard shortcut in the middle of a demo, it will display what those keys are on the screen. And then I have another one down here, which is a little picture-in-picture video camera, so I can have like a little picture-in-picture from my local webcam. And then these two are special buttons that one of them centers whatever window I have. So if it's like the window's kind of off, I can click that button and get it right in the middle of my monitor. And then the other one is, if I have like this is kind of down in the corner, I can click maximize and it just makes it full screen for me. So those are handy if you do a lot of demos. Having buttons on hand like that are really, really good to have. The next thing I've got on my list is a standing desk. I have the fully Jarvis desk, and it allows me to stand up periodically throughout the day and control the height of my desk for when I shoot a video or something. I also have this dock that I'm a big fan of. This is a Thunderbolt 3 dock. I don't know if they're making this one anymore. This is the CalDigit TS3 Plus, so you might be able to find a better deal on this one right now or coming up. But I like this because everything is plugged into it. My camera, my microphone, my Stream Deck, everything is off of this one. It also has my network connection, so my hardline Ethernet is plugged in. And then it even charges my laptop too. So I've got one cable plugging in that I can unplug it, take my laptop and go to the office. And then my other little tip that I have is I've added a Glide Gear teleprompter to my setup. So I'm looking at you guys right now on screen, and it looks like I'm looking into the camera directly. But what I actually see is I see this live stream, and I see Andy and like what you guys are watching, so that I can make sure that it looks okay. But it looks like I'm making contact with the camera itself. I do that with a teleprompter with an iPad hooked up to it. Something that's on my list, if I were to buy some stuff this year, is I'm really looking for a green screen option. So Andy, I think, has this Elgato Key green screen. And I think it's, what is it, like $150 or 130, something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to get one of those. The Busy Light would be a really nice kind of like gift idea if you're somebody who's still working from home, if you're going to be working from home forever. They make ones that are Bluetooth even, and you can put that outside of your office so that your significant other, your kids know if you're busy or not. So like maybe my son wouldn't be yelling quite as much if I had the red light on outside. And then I have this microphone stand. Oh, I just pulled it out. I have this kind of crappy microphone stand that I got from Amazon for like $15. I really want to upgrade to, this is the Elgato Wave Arm LP. So it's low profile. It goes underneath the monitors, and it doesn't fall apart when you touch it like this one just did. So I think I'm definitely going to buy this one, especially if it goes on sale. If not, I'm probably going to order it this weekend anyway. But that's what I've got for generic home office type stuff. Andy, what is good for you for like that makes your life easier at home?
Stream Deck. Big fan of the Stream Deck. I can't sing the praises of the Stream Deck enough. And I use it for so many things. Like, so one of the main things I use is the launch apps, like my office apps. Like, I mean, it's easy enough to go to the scroll bar at the bottom, but like if I can just hit one button and go into Teams and go directly to my calendar, saves me a ton of time. Like I have buttons in there to take my screens and center them or maximize them. I've got other buttons that allow me to launch various other applications. Like if I'm going to go into OBS, one click to open OBS, switch into a profile, and then I'm off and running. Road Connect and some of the buttons there. So I have a bunch of these like set up for just launching apps. I've got one on there for a clock. Like just so I have like a desktop clock. Like I have one on my laptop and my secondary monitor, but that's way over there. You know, sometimes it's easier to look down here. I have a screenshot button. So like I can do, I can basically just have like I hit that and it pulls up my screenshot window. And so like I can very quickly like, okay, I want to highlight this part of the screen. I need to take 35 screenshots in a row, hard click, capture. And I just do that over and over and over. The only thing I can't program into it is screenshot and capture. There's not a keyboard shortcut that I'm aware of for Apple's default screenshotting that captures. You still have to physically click the capture or the track bar, but it's close enough. And then my favorite is the mute button in Teams meetings. That's a one-click mute, unmute, and I've got it programmed. So the first thing it does, it runs two actions. Number one, it opens Teams, or it activates Teams if Teams isn't the primary window. Like I'm screen sharing right now, and if I were in a Teams meeting, this would be the primary thing. And so if I ran the mute commands, it wouldn't work. So it activates Teams first, and then the second one, it mutes my Teams meeting. And like multi-click actions instead of Stream Deck, they're like macros. They're amazing. Now, I found, you see, I got my Stream Deck over here. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You can see it's toggling in and out. You know, it lost signal. Now it's gonna.
That network thing is a problem.
Yeah, and I gotta figure that one out. I got a couple of others, like some shortcuts that I want. So like if I'm doing like a training, I've got a profile set up for that. So like a list of bookmarks that I share frequently, I just hit the button and it goes ahead and pastes those in the chat window for me, which is great. I have a full OBS profile that I use inside of here. So the OBS one's actually really good. I can switch between all my different screens. There's some of the links that I use. I can watch, PowerPoint. I can start and stop some of the PowerPoint features. So that's really helpful. But I think my new favorite, I shared this on Twitter last week. I just found it. I thought this was absolutely amazing. I didn't know that I needed this in my life. But Stream Deck has a profile that you can launch, and it's a Pac-Man screensaver, and it actually plays Pac-Man. It moves like they're chasing him. I just think that's so cool. It's running on my Stream Deck right now. The controller doesn't show it, but on my Stream Deck off to the side, it's actually doing it.
There he goes. Yeah, so that's what it looks like. And you press any button, it just goes back to the normal.
Yep. And I didn't know I needed that. I saw that last week. I was like, whoa. And then I dove into the website for the company that published that. And they do all of these like different packs. Ecamm has their own version of this, but it gives you all the commands that you need to basically run some of the software. But in drilling down through that company, and I've got it here, it's sideshowfx.net. They've got profiles for like Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, pretty much like any of the software that I use in other parts of my life, they have controls around that. That's amazing. And you got to pay a small fee for some of them, but the amount of productivity that I can get out of that and have physical buttons, chopping up DaVinci Resolve and making edits to videos, that's going to save me so much time. It's totally worth it. So that's the Stream Deck's big for me for productivity. The other couple of desktop things that are huge for me, I'm moving back and forth between a couple of different computers at any point during the day, just depending on what I'm doing. Sometimes I'm doing a demo and I'm logged in and presenting here, and then I have a demo user and I'm using it off to the side. The Logitech MX Keys keyboard allows me to switch via Bluetooth up to 3 different computers with a push of a button. So up in the top corner here, you got profile 1, 2, and 3, and it moves seamlessly between the different computers. It's great. And the MX Keys is very comparable to the the Apple Magic keyboard or the default keyboard that they use on the Mac Pros. So very similar feel. This one's specifically for Apple devices, so it has some keys that are specific for Apple on it. It's Bluetooth, and it's also wireless, so you charge it up and it lasts for like weeks on end. Another one for me that I can't really live without is the MX Master. I love the touchpad. It's great, but I also feel like I'm developing some carpal tunnel from years of doing this. The MX Master 3 for Mac is amazing. That little scroll wheel, you can unlock it and you can just spin it and it will go for days. My only thing about that is if you move the mouse cursor from one window to another, it's going to keep spinning when it gets to the other window. So you might blast through a PowerPoint presentation when you didn't mean to.
Yeah,
and
Jamie
that
Laporte,
one you can.
Do you follow her on Twitter, Jamie Laporte?
Yeah. Yep.
She posted like, "Hey, who uses clicky mouse wheel versus like free spin?" And everybody said clicky, except I responded and said that I use free spin. But I've had the
Nope.
same thing where like I like it as like a fidget spinner. Like I kind of sit there and spin it all the time. But I'll mouse over to Twitter and I'll blow through like 500 tweets instantly because it just
Yep.
like just scrolls like super fast.
Yep. No,
It's an
I'm a
awesome
free
mouse though. I
spinner.
love the MX
Yeah.
Master 3.
And you can use the side wheel, the little side guy right there. You can use that when you're working with timeline editing in like a DaVinci Resolve, which is great.
Yeah.
My only complaint is that to switch devices, it's on the bottom.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just doing it wrong, but like I like being able to move back and forth between a couple. And then on those same lines, I have yet another one that I use. This one only connects to two at the same time, but it does allow you to tilt, so you can go flat with it or you can tilt it. And this is the trackball. So this just gives me 3 different angles that I can use throughout the day, so I can minimize some of the fatigue whenever I'm doing longer sessions or delivering content. And I can have these hooked up between the different devices. So like if I'm doing a presentation, I know I go to the trackball if I need to control the demo user that I'm using off to the side. And if I need to do stuff for me, it's the trackpad or it's the MX in front of me. Those are the biggest for on desk productivity. And then when I'm in the classroom, the Logitech, I don't even know what it's called anymore.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get one of those too.
Oh, what is it?
That presentation
Logitech
remote.
presentation. Yeah. So you can cycle through your
the
PowerPoint
Spotlight,
presentations.
right?
Yep. It's got Spotlight built into it. It's got a Zoom
Yeah.
feature built into it as well. Connects via Bluetooth, but there's also a USB dongle in the back of it that you can use. Charges USB-C. But you can even use this to like click through like links and stuff in your presentations. This thing's great. I saw one of these like 4 years ago. Somebody had it. I was like, I went and found it. That's amazing. So I'm a big fan of the Logitech presentation when I'm in a classroom environment or if I'm presenting. That one's really core for me. And then the last, I've got the Thunderbolt dock. I carry that with me, I use that on my desk. But when I'm traveling, the one that I use now is the Anchor. I don't know exactly which model this is. This is the Power Extend 11-in-1 USB-C power delivery hub. Yeah, that's a mouthful. Power Expand 11-in-1. That's all you need. Anchor 11-in-1. So it's got power delivery for like 65 watts, I believe. It's got an HDMI. It's got a display port. It's got SD. It's got 3 USB-A, 1 USB-C, and this little, it's got Ethernet, and it's got a headphone jack on it. This little dude, super lightweight, 4K. It'll support 2 separate signals at the same time, so I can do like display port out and HDMI out, run it all at the same time, which is great. And it's super lightweight, fits pretty much in my pocket. So when I'm on the go, it's amazing.
Yeah, the dock that you have on your desk, is that the CalDigit also?
Yeah, so I've actually got 2 because I'm running.
Oh, do you?
I've got a Kensington a Kensington Thunderbolt 3, and then I've got the CalDigit Thunderbolt 4. I got the newest CalDigit. That one has like 4 USB-C/Thunderbolt, and then it's got like 4 USB-A on it, and then it's got pass through, and it's got support for multiple 5K monitors. I don't have a 5K monitor, but I saw that one, and I needed more USB for plugging in 55 different devices. And then I still have the Kensington Thunderbolt 3. My Mac Mini is actually hooked up to that. And I can actually, the monitor that I have supports picture by picture and picture in picture at the same time. So I can actually have 2 computers running on there side by side if I want. And when I'm demoing and I got that demo user, I put it on one and then I work on the other in the laptop. And it basically gives me like I have 3 monitors, but I only have the 1 monitor in my laptop.
Nice. Yeah, Marilyn was saying that the CalDigit TS3 is currently the top on their website still right now. I want to say they're coming out with some kind of a Thunderbolt 4 probably, but I have the TS3 and it's got those 15 connections, which is really good.
I
It's a
just
nice looking
pulled up
monitor.
my monitor so we're talking about desktop. This is the monitor I've got, the Dell 40-inch. It's the U4021QW. It's a actually it's a 5K. It's a 5K by 2K monitor, and it actually supports multiple inputs. So there's there's a Thunderbolt 3, and then there's a couple of display ports and HDMI's, and it can feed signals from all of them at the same time. I did not pay what the website has. I got really lucky and got a really good deal on it back at the beginning of the year. And I've been putting it through the paces. It took a while to get used to 5K resolution, but now I've gotten used to it. And like from a productivity standpoint, it's been really, really good. And it is curved, so I don't have to like turn my head a whole bunch. It's not curved so much that, it feels like you're wrapping around, but it's been really, really good. I've always had Dell monitors, and so that's my secondary, but I got it for the dual input, and the Logitech stuff helps with the switching inside of there, which is really great.
Yeah, and that's a 40-inch, you said?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm running the 34-inch Dell. Mine's about 3 years old now. It's a 34-inch curved ultra wide, and it has HDMI and DisplayPort. Like 1 year newer would have had USB-C, So, but it's one of those things. It's like it's not worth upgrading yet. But yeah, I see you're bringing up the chairs. So Angel and Cole both asked like, "Hey, what chairs do you guys use?" So I'll let you go first because you've got a better setup than me.
Yeah, I'm using the Herman Miller Arion chair. This chair is great. Mine's a little squeaky because mine is a gently used refurbished model. If you shop around, you can save $1,000, if not more, on one of these.
Like
You
an
just
office liquidation type thing.
Yep, an office liquidation or clearance. I've got a friend here in the Carolinas, and he finds these things for fun, refurbishes them, and then sells them. He gave me a really sweet deal on mine. I'm not going to lie, but this chair has been absolutely great. I don't get any back pain anymore. It's got a mesh back and a mesh bottom, so I don't get too hot whenever I'm sitting in it. I need to kind of take it apart and grease it up a little bit. I actually changed the wheels on it as well. I've got rollerblade wheels on the bottom of it. There's a couple companies that make them on Amazon.
Yeah, I need to
My
do that to
carpet's a little
mine.
plush, and the rollerblade wheels definitely help. And they don't get, or mine don't get flat, which is great. But as far as like chairs go, I've had 2 chairs in 20 years, and I really liked my other chair. But this one is way more comfortable because I'm basically sitting on mesh all the time. And I would suggest if you can look for one of these. There's a number of places that sell them like refurbished, and a number of places that sell them like reconditioned. You'll save a ton of money if you do that. But just look for an office liquidation. Offices buy these things by the truckload. I've seen them unloaded for like $150.
Yeah, that's what I need to do, something better like that. This is what I'm rocking. It's from Staples. It's the Flex Fit Hiking. And I do not recommend buying this chair. It sucks. It's $190. And I like that it's mesh. Like it keeps my back from getting too hot, but it's too small for me. Like the back of the chair is just like, it's for a smaller person. And then especially the headrest on the back of it doesn't go high enough, and it pushes my head forward. So since for months now, I've been experiencing back and chest pain. And I've like, to the point that I went and got like a stress echo done at a cardiologist. I've seen my primary care physician, and he felt my back and immediately was like, yeah, you have bad posture. Like you've got back problems, back and neck. And, the chiropractor he sent me to was like, yeah, you've got you got to take that headrest off of your off of your chair because it's pushing your head forward and straining your neck. So I don't recommend this chair. I'm in the market for something like a Herman Miller chair because I need to get something that kind of fits me a little bit better. Hossein on the stream here says that his Secret Labs chair is amazing. I have seen a lot of good things about Secret Labs because they've got a lot of like really cool looking options and all of that. I personally
just pulled
like
up their
the mesh
website and they've got a
type of
pretty big
chairs.
sale going on.
Oh, do they have a good sale? Secret Labs or Secret Lab. Yeah, Secret Lab. No S on the end of it. Yeah, they've got. Yeah, I'm searching from the United States. It like took me to the Chinese version, I guess. Yeah, up to $150 off for their Black Friday sale. So, yeah, they've got some nice looking chairs as well that feel a little bit more like a racing seat, or or like a gaming type of a chair. But
I didn't know we were
yeah,
going to
I'm
bring
in the
that into
market
the
for
conversation.
that. Well, like
I didn't
gaming
know.
chairs.
I didn't know we were going to do. Yeah, like gaming. I got years ago. I bought the Logitech race wheel for the PS3 slash PS4, but I don't have that set
Yeah.
up on the current desk. I've been meaning to do that for this for the setup. I just haven't had a chance yet. Yeah.
This is what I'm rocking. So I've got the wheel and everything.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of hard to hear me now because I walked away from my microphone. Yeah, that's what I've got. Since Forza 5 came out, I've got the Xbox sitting on the floor with my TV, and I bought a chair for my Logitech wheel, so I can like sit in the chair, and it's got like it holds the pedals and everything like just perfectly. So I've been messing around with that. That's a comfortable chair. I should just sit in that all day instead.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, can you bring my screen up one more time?
Yeah.
So
There
you
you
mentioned the desk earlier, and I know a couple people had some questions out there. I use the uplift desk, and I'm a huge fan of it. I've had really good results with it, but this is the one I have. I've got the uplift corner standing desk, so it's got that little L shape, and mine's actually positioned the other way. This one is the opposite of mine. Mine's curved on the other side there. I've been really happy with it because it goes up super fast, and it gives me the ability to put my camera far enough away and still have a workspace in front of me, and still have room for like other stuff on the desk. So it's actually
Yeah, that's
been
nice.
really good. Yeah, this is the setup I have. The left side. Hold on, I got to look at it. Yeah, I got the left side extension. So like my monitor is like in this corner over here. My camera's behind it. My laptop's right here. I got my key lights mounted on both sides, and then I still have a working station over here that I can use. And then you get the 4 memory programmable setup. And like John said, being able to like have the desk go up and like do cameras and stuff. I'm just gonna let it go. I'm 6'4", so for it to be able to go up high enough for me and still be able to broadcast has been really great. But as a standing desk goes, like I went back and forth about whether I wanted just like a straight desk, but I'm really glad I went with the corner option because it gives me the most flexibility and the ability to kind of set up and do live streaming and whatever else I need to do. But man, the productivity to be able to like stand up and work and like stretch my legs and like work out my back has been just great over the last year and a half.
Yeah. Having a curve.
And I didn't pay that either. I got a good deal on it.
Yeah,
What's that?
$1,400. The uplift fully, a lot of those desk manufacturers, they're really known for having good sales too. So that would be something that I would look out for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Usually they do like Cyber Monday sales because they're like online retail.
Yeah. And they got it to me like really quick. It came FedEx freight. So it came on on wooden pallets, and like it was like double, triple packed, and it was really well packaged. And like I set it up myself. I time lapsed it, but I haven't published the video anywhere. I probably should at some point, but it was challenge getting it turned over because you assemble it upside down, and those legs are heavy duty. But
yeah, mine's pretty hefty
I've really
too.
yeah, I think I've had this almost a year now, and it's been great. I went with the blacktop because a lot of the wooden options were sold out, but I've been really happy with the blacktop.
Yeah, that was my like. By May of last year, I realized like this pandemic is like never going to end, and I'm going to be stuck here at home forever. Like I'm going to get a standing desk. So I bought the legs, and I got just the legs, and then I made the top myself. So I've got just a straight desk. But I've been thinking about remaking the top because it can expand out a little bit wider. So I've been thinking about making it wider, like 6 or 7 feet. Well, it's 6 feet now. I'm thinking about 7 or 8. And then doing the same as you, like I thought about like cutting a curve into it so I can get a little bit closer and kind of have like a better rest around me.
The beveled
corner
edge
desk is
and the
pretty
curve
sweet
is
looking.
actually really nice for your elbows. Like it puts your elbows at like just a nice resting position. Like, and I could still
Yeah.
be at my elbows at a 90-degree angle, like when I set it up. That's been really nice. But the beveled edge has been great, and it extends as I turn to the side pretty much anywhere. So there's no sharp edges for me to bump into whenever I'm working. And I tried to configure it a couple of different ways. Like I did my monitor in the corner here. I tried putting it over here, and then having this space open, and that didn't quite feel right. The curve was a little off in order to do that. Like I would have
Yeah.
to kind of put it like right in that area, and that wasn't great. I found putting it in the corner ended up being the best, and I get a little bit of space back there for things like power bricks or extension cords or anything that I want to hide. But they
Yeah.
do make it so on the bottom on the frame they include a whole bunch of options for you to bolt on things. Actually, mine came with the hammock
Yeah, like
holder,
cable
but I don't have the
baskets and
hammock.
stuff.
Yeah, you can do cable baskets, and they do include some cord organizers and things like that. But they have a
Yeah.
hammock adapter, and you could put a hammock underneath the desk, and like it'll hold you. Like this thing will hold like 500 pounds. Like I sat on top of it and
Yeah.
let it raise me up and down a couple of times. I was a little
That's what
nervous, but it worked.
I've seen this one does that too. They sell like hammocks and stuff.
Yeah, and the frame's super strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan
Definitely
of it.
recommend a standing desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hussein said he really recommends that Secret Lab desk. He got the Batman version, which looking on their website is it's on sale for $469 for the Batman edition. And
Okay.
then Erin Dominguez, she's from Iowa. She said that she got a Han chair. So from up in that area, which looking at, I wonder what their prices are. They're probably like Herman Miller price. Yeah, list price is like $700, $1,000. So yeah, I was saying so the price has gone up a little bit since he got his Secret Lab. Yeah, I want to say they used to be like $399, maybe $350, and they've gone up a little bit in their popularity.
I can tell you
So
just like long term, like working from home, the best thing you can do is to make sure you take care of your back. And if you're in an uncomfortable chair or you don't have the option to stand up all day, you're going to pay for it long term. So I would recommend if you're going to put money into anything, put it into what's going to help you be comfortable while you're working from home, and putting it into your chair or putting it into like a standing desk. And you don't have to go to top of the line. You can go refurb. You can find things on clearance warehouses. You can do like John did. You can buy the legs. Most of these companies sell just the legs, and
just
you
the
can put whatever
legs,
top
yeah.
you want on it. You can go to Home Depot and you can get a Husky tabletop pretty cheap, and you can
Yeah.
go and attach your own legs to it, and there you go. You got a standing desk. All you need is a drill and a couple of bolts,
Or an
and
IKEA
they'll send
countertop.
an IKEA countertop. Like there's a ton of options. but I would recommend the chair for sure. And like the Herman Miller ones, if you buy it from them new, I think there's like what, a 25-year warranty or something on that. Like,
Really?
I mean, it's ridiculous. And you can get certified parts, replacement parts for it. So they support these things for a long time. And I know a lot of our friends in the community swear by them. That's why I ended up getting one. But my friend found one and got it ridiculously cheap. So shop around,
Yeah.
try to find a warehouse or something.
That's what I need to look for. Yeah, Angel says a butcher block. Yeah, those make really good desktops. Nice thick butcher block tops. They make good workbenches too. That's what I've done in the past. Cool. So the next category I've got is kind of back to the office stuff, or like stuff that we use for travel. You want to kind of transition that way, or do you have some more home office ideas?
No, I think we kind of knocked that one out.
Like stuff that you keep in your backpack.
Yeah, so I don't have some slides for all of this, but I'll show you a couple things that I keep. Like a lot of this I keep in my backpack when I'm on the go, but a few things that are super helpful for me. The Anchor thing, like that thing's just great. 11-in-1. Yeah. An SSD. I saw the Samsung T5 SSDs were on sale last week. So check out a deal for those this week. You can get some pretty large sizes, and you can save a pretty good bit. This one was like a 2 terabyte, but it was like $50 off or something. And it's SSD through USB-C, so it records super fast, or reads and writes super fast depending on what you're doing. Always have one of those with me because you never know when you're going to have to transfer content. And then some other things that I keep in my backpack, like when I'm traveling, and I can't live without it, my iPad. And this is kind of my wish list iPad, the new M1 Pro. After experiencing the M chips, I really want that. I have like an Air 3, iPad Air 3, and it's been great. I got the Apple Pencil. Using that on travel and planes has been awesome. But you can use it in a classroom environment as a second screen. You can use Sidecar, and you can make it a second monitor if you need. It's also, I can share it using QuickTime like I did my phone earlier, and I can do a whiteboard on there, or I can play a video or something on there and have that like come through. So it's a secondary computer. That's been really, really helpful. But this is kind of a wish list item for me. And then we're talking about stuff in the backpack. I'm a gadget geek, so this one's been really big for me. Actually, I took it camping with me this weekend. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
this is the DJI
the original model
Osmo Mobile. Yeah, this it's a gimbal for your phone. You can see here. You can it just gives you a steady shot, but the app is what really sets it off. You can pre-program like paths. You can, hey, take a panoram for me, and it'll be a perfect panoram. Or track this person, and it'll lock onto a face, and it'll track that person as they're actually moving around. You can have it set to record, and then you can use it as an actual gimbal, so you can get stable shots. But you can stitch all the shots that you take together using some of the editing software, and you can create these little mini movies that are like would take years of like production to build up to. It's super lightweight. Batteries built in, recharges, lasts for a long time, comes with a tripod. They don't make the 3 anymore. I got it a couple years ago. They're up to the 5 now. The 5 has a selfie stick extension in it, so you can extend it and turn it into a selfie stick. I just use the bottom of the tripod for that. Hit record, hold it at arm's length, and then I'm ready to go. So that one's really cool. And the one that I have attaches magnetically. So I just put this on my phone, and it just attaches magnetically, and then it's ready to go, which is great. So I usually have that in my backpack. They made a lot of good
improvements over the. I used to have the Osmo Mobile 2, and I ended up getting rid of it because it was like you put your phone in, you had to kind of crank something down. It didn't fold in half, so it was very long. Since then, they've gotten a lot nicer because they're like way more compact, and like yours has the removable magnet on it. Yeah, that might be something to explore again, is the Osmo Mobile.
Yeah, I got it because the kids, but also like traveling.
Hmm.
I like to sightsee. I take a ton of pictures, and like I can also use that in a scenario where I can film myself. Like just put the auto tracking on me, step away, and then it just follows me as I move around the room, which is kind of cool. And
Hmm.
then the extension of that, the other thing I have in my backpack now, and I don't really travel without it anymore, is the DJI Ronin. I've got the Ronin SC, and that is a gimbal stabilizer for my camera.
Hmm.
So I've got my A6000 on there with my 18 to 105 zoom lens, f aperture 4. I've got the phone adapter, which is pretty much what they used on the previous mobile model, and that allows me to do face tracking with the gimbal. This is a mirrorless camera stabilizer gimbal. I've got a battery pack here. It's called the Juice Box, with a dummy battery
Hmm.
in the camera, and then I went ahead and got the small rig secondary adapter, so it's more stable when I hold it with two hands. I mean, I could hold it with like two hands like this, but it's all on one axis. Here,
Hmm.
it becomes more stable when I can spread it out across the two. And then I can just use the tripod if I want to just like set it on my desk. But I use this. I'm learning how to stream with it with the face tracking technology. So like I can set it on the
Hmm.
desk and I can move around the room. And it's like I'm in an actual classroom and I can walk around and I can
Yeah.
do things and free up my hands.
That would be
But
super cool to
also,
have it follow you and also do HDMI capture.
yeah, yep. And I've got an HDMI out, and it just runs to my ATEM Mini. I don't
Hmm.
have it set up for today because I was doing some testing and stuff with it recently. But at its core, it's a gimbal and a stabilizer. So if I take it to a conference,
Yeah.
I'm now completely portable, and I can just put my wireless lavalier receiver on the top, have the lab
Hmm.
mic with me, walk up, have a conversation or an interview with someone, film something. The only thing that I wish that this supported is the DJI Raven Eye. The Raven Eye is a wireless HDMI transmitter. It doesn't work
Hmm.
on this particular model. I can use it for the HDMI part, just to get the signal. But if I had the newer version of the gimbal, the Raven Eye would also allow for full facial tracking without the phone mounted on top. So I could take that weight
Oh,
off of
that'd
the
be
gimbal
convenient.
and put it somewhere else. But the Raven Eye can be used for just HDMI transmission. And so, like, what I really want to get to is like, I go to like a conference and like I want to walk across the room and like work with people and talk and interact while we're doing like a workshop. I want to
Hmm.
take this with me, walk through selfie mode, or walk through the room that I'm in, interact with people, and have it all show up on the big screen while I'm not on the stage.
Hmm.
So that's the other thing in my backpack. So I've had a lot of fun
Hmm.
building that out, and hopefully going to do some cool stuff with it coming up at SharePoint Fest, aka 365 EduCon in DC in 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, a gimbal would be really cool, like a full size gimbal. I've just got a little mini gimbal that I'll talk about in my backpack. So, um, on my side, I've got kind of two categories that I do when I'm thinking about when I go back to the office or whenever I'm traveling to a conference or something like that. I've got my basic kit, which would include things like obviously your charger for your laptop. You're definitely going to want to charge your laptop up. I keep the official charger for my Apple because I have my dock charges my laptop. So I've got the official Apple one just always in my backpack. That way I don't have to unplug anything. I just throw the laptop in.
Mm-hmm.
You want to think about all the chargers that you have for like devices. So I've got a USB-C charger for my phone, a USB-C to USB-C charger for everything else. I've got a multi-charger that has like USB-C, micro USB, and mini USB on it, just in case there's some other random thing. I'm pretty much down to having just USB-C or Lightning whenever I need some other peripheral charger. You want to make sure that you have dongles in your backpack. So I've got this bag, if you remember from earlier, this has my dongles in it. And I keep the Apple AV adapter, which has it's USB-C on one end. The other end is a USB for charging, a USB-A adapter, and a HDMI output. So I keep one of those in there. I've also got this little Dell puck that kind of like rotates and the cable falls out of it. And then you rotate it and it pulls the cable back in. That's got USB-C, USB-A, HDMI, DisplayPort, and Ethernet on it. So I keep that if I need like an Ethernet connection. One thing as we go back to the office, but especially when I go to conferences, even before the pandemic, I always had hand sanitizer hanging off of my backpack. So I've got some little hand sanitizer bottles that have like carabiners. I like to clip that to the outside of my backpack so I can like get hand sanitizer if I need to, without having to dig for it. And then especially when going back to the office, I always want to have some really portable headphones. So for me, that's going to be my AirPods. If you're looking for team certified devices, there's the Logitech Zone Wireless are ones that are going to be team certified if they're not already yet. But those would be a good option if you're looking for team certified. I think Jabra also has some like earbuds that are team certified that are wireless. Personally, I don't take my Surface headphones out of my office because they're kind of too big and bulky to take out. If I've got noise canceling headphones that are this small, I'd rather just carry these. And then for like conference rooms that might not have like a MTR in it, a Microsoft Teams room, again, I just unplug that little modern USB, Microsoft modern USB speaker, whatever it's called. I unplug that. I throw that in my bag. I throw my laptop in my bag, and everything else is already packed away. So I can get out of my office like really, really fast. The second category, so that's just all generic office worker type stuff. The second category is for making movies, like making videos, doing live streaming. And what I keep in my bag for doing live streaming is Andy mentioned that he's got two gimbals. He's got the gimbal for his big mirrorless camera as well as for his phone with the Osmo Mobile. What I've got is this guy. It's the Osmo Pocket from DJI. And if I turn it on here a little bit, it's a little tiny handheld camera on a gimbal. So I can use this, and it's got a little screen on the back of it. I can use this to point things up and down and side to side. And that's what I run with whenever I'm kind of going lightweight and I want to be able to record something. I also have a little adapter for this that has a microphone input. So that allows me to put this on a little stick tripod that's like telescoping. And I will point that at myself and I'll plug the Rode Wireless Go and just let it hang off of there. And then I can record like a tip video on the go using this. It's a little 4K 60 camera. The other thing that I carry with me is this is the GoPro Max. So this is a 360 camera. And I like this because you don't have to figure out where you're pointing it. You just walk with it and then you frame it later on. But this is also really helpful in our return to work in IT, where I've been taking this on campus and taking 360-degree photos and then using SharePoint spaces to build virtual tours through our campus. So we can say, like, here's where this is, here's where that is, as people are coming back onto campus, en masse. So I don't carry my DSLR with me very often, or my mirrorless camera. What I carry is I carry the GoPro and the Osmo Pocket whenever I just have my backpack and I'm kind of going lightweight. The last thing that I would recommend, which is in my backpack, the last thing I would recommend that you have or look at for Black Friday is this from Small Rig. It's called a Magic Arm, and this thing is really handy. I have usually two of these in my backpack, and what this works for is you can clamp it onto all kinds of things. So if you've got a ledge or if you've got a table that you're working with, you can clamp it to the edge of something, loosen this up, and then you've got a 1/4-20 tripod mount everywhere that you go. So I can take that, I can mount the Osmo Pocket onto it with a little thread adapter that I've got, and then I can clamp that to like a handrail, and I can take a time lapse of the campus. I can clamp it onto a tabletop at the cafeteria, and I can record a video. It's just this like super tiny, compact camera mount that fits in your backpack, and they're like $12. And I've got probably 4 or 5 of these things floating around, but I always have 1 or 2 in my backpack at all times. And that's this little guy on this slide is the small rig magic arm is what it's called. It's like $12. I use that. I have a bunch of stuff clamped up on my desk as well for holding like webcams and stuff pointed at my whiteboard. I use a magic arm for that. So that's the last thing that I keep as like in my backpack, things that I would pick up while they're on sale are like these little mini cameras and mini tripods and stuff like that as well. Andy, anything else to add for like the back to office stuff as we think about coming back into hybrid work?
Check out anchor.com. I have so many charging devices and hubs and cords and things from Anchor. Their stuff's always been really good for me, rock solid. They do make a small USB-C Apple Watch charger, which is great because like sometimes like if I'm on the go, I forget to charge my watch overnight or I wear it to bed, and then the next morning it's like I'm dying. They make this little USB-C adapter. You can just charge your watch right there off the side of your computer, which is absolutely awesome.
Oh, nice.
Their power bricks are really good. They got portable power bricks. They've got hubs for all the devices, and then they've got power strips and power supplies. I'm a huge fan of Anchor. I don't know what kind of sales they've got going on this week, but usually anything from them I've had really good experiences with. Looks like they got up to 35% off going on this week.
They have a lot of hubs and stuff too.
Yeah, they make a lot of different things. And then they've got some offshoot brands as well. Soundcore, Eufy, and Nebula. Soundcore is going to be their audio stuff. Eufy is going to be for some of their home things like vacuums and things like that. And then Nebula is like their projectors. Like they got a projector the size of a soda can, gives you a 1080p projection for the wall. But that's anything from Anchor.
The Nebula Mars. It's like about this big. It's a little projector. We use that on the deck all the time to watch movies and stuff on our deck. Anchor makes awesome stuff.
Yeah, big fan of their stuff. And I have a whole bunch of that stuff in my backpack right now, or geared up to get in my backpack here in the near future.
Yeah, I have most of my USB cables are Anchor brand stuff.
Yeah, and for me, it's high quality. It just lasts. So I've had really good results there.
Cool. The last category I've got to kind of round us out is software. So usually I don't buy a lot of hardware on Black Friday and Cyber Monday because I usually buy it throughout the year. But Black Friday, Cyber Monday is a really good time to buy software that you've had your eye on, especially if it's like a subscription-based software, because you can get like 30% or 50% off on something that you've been paying like $10 for a month or $5 for a month. You could buy like a year of it at a discount on Black Friday. So some options, some of my favorite pieces of software are, we've already talked about Wavelink from Elgato. On the Rode side, where the Andy uses for his microphone, is the Rode Connect software. So keep an eye out for microphones that support that software. But something that is a one-time purchase is Rogue Amoeba. They make software called Loopback, and it's pretty expensive normally. It's like $100 usually. But it does virtual audio routing without a special microphone to enable it. So you can just use any microphone and any audio software. They have a sale going on right now. It's 20% off. The coupon code is like, don't call it BFCM. Like, don't call it a Black Friday sale. It's just a sale is what they're calling it. But that's a really good piece of software if you're a Mac user. Ecamm Live, that's what we're using to live stream today. It's pretty expensive. It's like $40 a month for this software that we're using to do this live stream. But they typically will run a sale on Black Friday or Cyber Monday for like a discount off of an annual subscription. So that's something I'm keeping my eye out for. Instead of paying $400, maybe I can get it a little bit cheaper. The other thing that I use is Restream, the service called Restream.io. A lot of our live streams until this one have been with Restream Studio. And for the basic Restream, it's like $12 a month, I think. And then it's like $40 a month for their Pro. That's another one of those ones I'm going to watch out for a Black Friday deal and try to snatch up a year of both of these for cheap. And then the things that I mentioned when I was talking about my Stream Deck are these other pieces of software. These are Mac specific. They're on the Mac App Store. This one is called Presentify. Is that what it's called, Andy?
Yeah.
The Presentify application. This allows you to annotate your screen. So you click a button on your Stream Deck or a hotkey on your keyboard, and then you can draw arrows pointing to stuff. You can highlight and circle things, and annotate whenever you're sharing your screen, especially in a Teams meeting. You can draw on your screen in the Teams screen sharing. The other things that I use are Cursor Pro. That's what this software is, where I've got this green circle over my cursor. This one I would pick up off the Mac App Store. Presentify has a cursor highlighting feature, but I don't quite like it as much as I like Cursor Pro. And what I've done is on my MX Master 3, this is the button that switches between the free spin and the clicky wheel. I actually mapped that instead to turn on and off the cursor highlighter. So I can turn that on real quick and highlight something. This Keystroke Pro, this is that software that shows, I guess if I zoom in on it a little bit, this is the software that shows those keystrokes on screen. So whenever you're doing a demo and you're doing like a keyboard shortcut, it will show that on screen and then it will fade away automatically. And then this one by the same developer is called Mirror Magnet. And if I unlock this scene and move myself out of the way here, move myself over here, Mirror Magnet, I've got a button. So I show up in a picture-in-picture. So if I just share my screen in Microsoft Teams, I can put myself as a picture-in-picture. And what's cool about this is as I mouse over into that corner, I'm covering up that corner of my slide. It automatically fades away. So I can like move my mouse over that way and it comes back automatically. So that's another piece of software that I recommend called Mirror Magnet. And with these 4 pieces of software, you can really step up your Microsoft Teams presentation game by being able to draw on your screen, highlight your cursor, make your cursor bigger, all of these little tips and tricks to make tech demos a lot easier. So I would watch for sales on all of this software if you're in the market for that type of thing. Andy, do you have any other software that you can think of to round us out?
OBS. OBS is
Studio,
free.
yeah. Free all the
OBS is
time.
free. Plugins are free. If you want to bring my screen back up.
There we go.
Yeah, so OBS Studio, open broadcast software. OBS Studio, you can get it on most operating systems. It's free. It's not too hard to set up. You create a scene, you add sources, pick your audio. You can switch between different scenes just by clicking on the scene to the side. If you got a Stream Deck, you can hard code it and you can add it in there. But with this, you don't have to stream. You can just broadcast this as a virtual camera into Teams or Zoom or whatever, or you can right click and you can make it into a projector and you can just share the projector window. But you can overlay, you can create transitions, you can organize things however you want. It's free, it's great, but the best value of this is the forums. When you start working with it and you really want to do something cool, plugins. And the best plugins are from this guy named Exceldro. The plugins that he makes are absolutely phenomenal. his plugins are the top rated. He dominates most of the top 50, but
Yeah,
they
he's
do
the
all
guy that
kinds
does
of
the move
things.
transition, right?
Yeah, that's move transition was just highlighted right there. This just
Yeah.
allows you, like, if I move from this scene to this scene, what transition do I want to use? Fade,
Yeah, it
cut,
animates as it goes.
yeah,
So awesome.
animation, like morph in PowerPoint. Yeah. But his plugins are the best, and they do some absolutely incredible things. And I mean, it doesn't take much to learn this. If you can create a PowerPoint presentation and you can launch a meeting in Microsoft Teams, all of this is free. It's all open source from the community, and you
Hmm.
can implement this as part of your process, and you can do some really incredible things with it. So I'm a huge fan of it. I talk about it and use it all the time. We just don't use it for this particular setup because we're testing out some of the things like Ecamm Live and how that works in the cloud, and Restream and how it works in the cloud. But we could do a lot of the same things using this. We just have to set it up like ahead of time and then feed in the cameras from multiple sources. But I use this a lot. I even use this in some of my workshops now because I can give kind of a work from home, like zoom in on this and move Andy out of the way, like John was just showing you with the mirror magnet. I can do some of
Hmm.
that in OBS and put that on a projector in the front of a room and deliver a
Yeah.
workshop at a conference or deliver a teaching in a classroom. And I can provide some of the same value that you get from learning how to present online and bring that into the physical world and provide that same level of value for some of the people that are in attendance. The other thing about this that's really cool, and I'll show it to you live. I'm just going to pull up OBS real quick. So the other thing that I like about it is that once you get it set up, you can use it as a screen recorder. So it has high definition screen recording for anything that you put in a scene. So like I'll go into actually I got to switch profiles real quick. 1 second. But you can basically use this as a screen recorder, and you can set it up however you need. So like here's one I'm working on. I got a lower third popping up over me. Got this nice little animation playing in the background, and then I've got some scenes that I'm transitioning between two, just using the fade. Makes it quick, makes it easy. Couple different views, but I can do some really fun stuff with this as well. So like we're gonna go on a break. I can have a countdown timer that runs on the break, starts automatically, play a movie, animated GIF. So I can do all kinds of neat little things like that. But I can record all of this as a free recorder, and it's capturing audio, video, and screen and anything that I build into it. And if I want to do a live stream, I can start the virtual camera, or I can connect it to the streaming service and I can just have it stream right from there. And it's free. Did I mention it's free? Because it's free. And then you can put all the plugins that you need into it. And the community continues to develop this. And I'm blown away by how powerful this open source software is.
Hmm.
So huge fan of that.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I'm torn between going back to like OBS versus Ecamm versus Restream. It's stuff that we've been talking about on the side, for a while, trying to figure out
Mm-hmm.
like what do we want to do for these streams, because
Yep.
I like Restream. It's got the guest mode, so we can do like really, really nice. Both of us share our screen at the same time. It's got like that interview mode or that guest stuff.
Yeah.
Ecamm has the guest mode or the interview mode as well, but OBS is like familiar. I know how to use it. It's
Yeah.
really powerful, but like it doesn't have that like system in the background other than doing like OBS Ninja. But I kind of haven't really been impressed with that compared to what Restream will let us do, or Ecamm. You know, so yeah, it's one of those pieces of software I always have, but I'm trying
Yeah.
to figure out if I want to keep it or not. One thing with OBS Studio I've been looking at in the past week is captions. There's a new captioning thing. It's not really new, but it's new to me. Is a captioning plugin so that you can get AI generated captions, and then they get embedded into your RTMP feed, sent out to YouTube, or supposedly sent out to Microsoft Stream, and then it enables the caption button real time. so that like rather than doing what you're doing right now where you can show the captions on screen, instead you're putting it in that encode so that people can decide whether they want to turn on the caption track or not. So I've been trying to figure that out because that's like a huge win for OBS to not have to use PowerPoint captions and have to show it on the screen for everybody all the time. I want to just put it into the feed instead. So
Here's
still
how
a
I
lot of
use it.
exploring to do.
Yeah, here's how I use it. Let me pull up OBS real quick. All right, so I'm sharing my screen. You're seeing the screen in front of me.
Yeah.
Let me get the profile to load real quick. So it'll take just a second. All right, so let me go in, make sure my PowerPoint is connected properly. All right, so I create a scene like this in OBS, and I'm just going to go big with it so you can see it. So there's my PowerPoint presentation. There's me in the lower corner. I got a mask around me. And then there's the logo for the conference that I'm going to be speaking at. And I'm using PowerPoint, but I've got the captions turned on when I'm in the presenter mode. And so it's actually using the cloud to power the captions and create that closed captioning experience. And as I move between different slides, when they show up, actually, I don't think I set those. So when I move between the different slides or whatever, I've got it there, and I can move this anywhere I want. I can reposition this, however I need to be, the most effective for that presentation. But this is just one that I'm kind of working on, and then I'm also starting to include some other stuff. If you will indulge me for just a second.
Good morning, Andy. Yes, online prior to the baby's estimated wake-up time this morning.
Text to speech.
While his sleeping schedule continues to fluctuate, his sleep seems to be stabilizing.
And then, depending on how I have it set up, one last thing. We go here.
Good morning, Andy. Yes, online prior to the baby's estimated wake-up time this morning.
It's picking up the system audio and doing the same thing, just like I'm actually speaking to it. And for those of you that want to geek out on what I'm actually doing there, how am I getting the system audio converted to that? The system audio is actually coming from Azure's Cognitive Services. There's a text-to-speech tool in Cognitive Services, and you can use that to take a text file, output it to speech, change the pitch, change the voice, change the speed, even tell it how to spell out or how to sound out certain words so that it says it appropriately. And then I'm just feeding that back in using OBS, using the Rode Connect software. And then every time I have my voice assistant Azure talk to me, it shows up as closed caption underneath the presentation that I'm giving.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to show you this caption thing. I need to send it to you sometime. I've got...
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to check that out.
I'll put my screen up real quick here. There we go. So yeah, I opened up OBS on here as well, and I've just got like a test Yammer event right here. But this plugin for captions, it puts a captioning area right here. And then if I unmute my microphone, it will start... Let me turn that off because I can hear myself. So as I'm talking, it captures all of that using the Google Captioning API. And then I can map it to either go, if I bring this window up, I can map it to do transcripts and save it to a file. I can also do captions, and I can send it to a text source right here. So that's what's on screen is like just a text source called captions. I can do text filtering. So if I say something, it'll replace it with another word. And then what I've got is it's not only doing this on screen, and then if I change to like another scene, that's the move transition that you were talking about. Not only does it show it on screen, but I could get rid of that and get rid of the captions. And I could be talking, it's still captioning down here in the corner. but that is being sent over RTMP to YouTube or Yammer or whatever. So then people can turn on captions if they want to get like the native captions. So that's what I've been playing with over the past week with OBS. And like this might be what seals it for me. If I can do live captions properly in a 608, 708 format and send that for accessibility reasons, I think that kind of wins the day, in my opinion, when it comes to OBS versus other stuff. So pretty impressive tech. I can't believe that I found this, that I didn't know about it before. I think it's like a year or two old that you were able to do this stuff. And if I stop talking for like 3 seconds, it clears the screen. There we go. So it clears it out, and you can like configure all of that. You can make it 15 seconds or 1 second if you want to, and it just clears out the text. But like, look how fast it's capturing that. It's insane. That's something I've been playing with lately. And man, back to this M1. I'm running. Oh, go to both cameras. There we go. I'm running Ecamm, Teams, OBS. I'm streaming in OBS to Yammer, streaming here on YouTube and Twitter, and this M1 is still functioning. And the fan is not on.
Yep.
The fan is even on this thing.
Pretty incredible.
This M1 is insane, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah. It is pretty incredible. But I've had the same experience with mine. Like I keep throwing more things at it, and I'm like, how can I break this? I want to hear the fan. Nothing. Yeah, I heard a fan the other day, and it's because my other computer, the screensaver, turned on.
Yeah, I can't believe that it's able to do this type of stuff. So that's what we've got for our not really top Black Friday deals. More, here's our gift guide or things that we are going to be watching for for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Lots of hardware sales, lots of software sales. I kind of wanted to point out that software because it's something a lot of people miss in their looking for Black Friday stuff. So that's what I've got.
Good call. I don't
see any more questions on the stream. Andy, any more words of wisdom before we end this thing out?
Wait until after Black Friday. Usually there's some good sales after Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then on into December. But hey, if you find anything cool, be sure to hit us up on Twitter. Let us know about it. I'm always looking for something new. I think there's a few things that popped up in this stream today. I'm already pulling up that captioning software. I'm going to figure that out sometime in the next couple of weeks and see how I can implement that. And that's a really cool thing. But yeah, if anybody sees anything, I'd love to hear about it. So hit us up on Twitter. Let us know what you find. And if anybody needs a discount code, EduCon 365 or 365 EduCon in DC in December, I can get you one of those. It's on my Twitter profile. But I'm looking forward to going back to hybrid and in-person events and packing out my backpack with some of the things that we talked about today and maybe a couple things that Santa brings here in the next month or two.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for joining me again. Thanks everybody who's watching. It still looks like there's 51 people watching. So thank you all for hanging out with us, especially through our technical difficulties of my internet crapping out and we had to go to an entirely different video. That was a new thing that happened. So I appreciate it though. If you guys, like Andy said, if there's anything that you see out there that I should know about, let me know via Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Let us know about good deals because we all like saving money and we all like buying cool stuff. So I don't know next month if we're going to do a live stream or not. Andy and I have still been kind of talking about if we want to do a December stream or if we want to just kind of like take Christmas off, So let us know if you want us to do one or if there's a topic you want for December or if you want to just peace out for the rest of the year and then we'll catch you back in January. Tell us in the comments. Tell us on Twitter. We're happy to do whatever. But thanks a lot, Andy. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
This was a fun conversation. It's fun to geek out about gear, talk about stuff. So
Absolutely.
All right. We're going to end this thing out then and go to our end screen. Everybody take
Thanks,
care.
everybody.
Have a great Thanksgiving. Stay safe. Get your booster if you haven't already. Take care.